Everybody's watching now, every eye's on you. Every single second counts, will you make it through? It's an uphill battle, and your knees are bruised. When the clock is ticking down, let your powers burn. Don't be afraid of a little fire, let it boom it. You were born and raised a fighter, let it boom it. Now everyone's watching, show them what you do. What you were really here for, what you come to prove. And get them singing. And get them singing. And get them singing.
This summer, the heat will rise with every game, every clash, and every choice. And somewhere in that heat, one team out of 28 will break through and stand tall as champions of Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 Summer. 28 total teams, all from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. Teams will come in hot and will only have one purpose: to be crowned by fire. South Asia play-ins starts from June 12th to June 14th. 18 teams will kick off the South Asia play-ins and will be divided into 3 groups of 6 each. 8 teams from India, 5 teams from Bangladesh, 3 teams from Pakistan, and 2 teams from Nepal. In a round-robin format, each group will play against the others over 3 days. At the end of day 3, only the top 8 teams out of 18 will move forward. For the remaining 10 teams, the journey ends. Main event starts from June 18th to June 20th. The 8 qualified teams from South Asia play-ins will then be challenged by the 10 invited teams. The top Indian team from Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 Spring. 1 team each from Bangladesh, Nepal, and Pakistan. Joining the fray will be teams from across the ocean. 2 teams from Indonesia, 2 teams from Malaysia, and 2 teams from Thailand. Once again, 18 teams are split into 3 groups of 6, and in a round-robin stage that will last for 3 days, only 12 of the finest teams in all of Asia will move on to the last challenge. Grand Finals on 21st June. 1 day, 1 opportunity, no second chances. The Grand Finals will be played in Champion Rush format. To claim the title of champions, a team must first reach 90 points to activate Champion Rush, and then secure a booyah. At stake is not just the crown, but also the biggest share of the $50,000 prize pool. When the final moment arrives and the heat reaches its peak, only one team will rise above the rest, and only one team will be remembered as crowned by fire.
लेट्स सी आगे बढ़ के क्या ये सामने कुछ और फ्रैग्स एकत्रित कर पाएंगे। एनजे ओहायो को डाउन किया गया है। यहाँ पे ऑटोबॉस के कुणाल जीवित है। मैट गॉड सामने की तरफ फुवारा को भी डाउन कर दिया गया है। टीम अकीन के पास एडवांटेज था, बट क्या मैट गॉड यहाँ पे इस पोजीशन से कम बैक कर पाएंगे? क्या यहाँ पे क्लच कर पाएंगे? फ्रीज नेट्स का भी इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। मैट गॉड को शॉट लगाने की पूरी कोशिश, कुणाल भी डिस्टेंस से शॉट लगाना चाहते हैं, लेकिन फिलहाल के लिए मैट गॉड यहाँ पे अकेले खिलाड़ी जूझते हुए और फिक्स को करेंगे डाउन। दूसरे छोर पे चलिए, टीम अक्की के खिलाड़ियों का रिवाइवल तो हो चुका है, बट मानना पड़ेगा मैट गॉड को। मैट गॉड क्लियरली प्लेइंग लाइक अ मैट गॉड इन द मोमेंट।
लेकिन अभी के लिए ऑटोबॉट बनाम iQOO टोटल गेमिंग, एक तरफ है भारत के पायोनियर्स iQOO टोटल गेमिंग, तो दूसरी तरफ है द न्यू कमर्स बट द राइजिंग स्टार्स, द अमेजिंग प्लेयर्स ऑफ ऑटोबॉट esports, जिन्होंने दर्शाया कि प्रेशर में वो क्या कुछ कर सकते हैं। बट अभी के लिए यहाँ पे टीम आकी को फिनिश करेंगे iQOO टोटल गेमिंग। कमाल का प्ले, इंस्टेंट रिएक्शन देखने को मिला, एंड ये फिनिशर मूव आएगा इन खिलाड़ियों की तरफ से। मुसीबत का पहाड़ आगे बढ़ता हुआ ये तूफान ऑटोबॉट esports मैट गॉड, एक मैड रश यहाँ पे होता हुआ। इस टाइम नेड भी टॉस करके नीचे फेंकेंगे, अंदर जरूर गया। इस वक्त देखिए हीलिंग यूएवीज का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है, ग्लू वॉल यूएवी का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। उन ग्लू वॉल्स को वो तोड़ना नहीं चाहते, लेकिन कैसे नहीं टूटेगी। रिपटाइड रिदम भी आएगा, मेल्टर्स भी आएंगे, इस वक्त हमला भी किया जाएगा। मैड गॉड बेक ऑफ, ये खिलाड़ी आगे बढ़ता जा रहा है।
आखिरी के सर्कल की तरफ हम बढ़ते हुए, ऑटोबॉट्स अपने 80 के आंकड़े की तरफ बढ़ते हुए, 5 अंक दूर है वो 80 के आंकड़े से, 5 अंक दूर है एक भारतीय टीम अपने चैंपियन रश कंडीशन को एक्टिवेट करने से। बट फिलहाल के लिए बची कुची कसर टीम हिंद यहाँ पे पूरी करती हुई नजर आई। बट अब टीम हिंद को बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा। बाहर की तरफ से ऑटोबॉट्स के खिलाड़ी आते हुए, और अभी भी टीम ऑटोबॉट्स सेफ गार्ड कर रहे हैं अपने आप को, टीम हिंद सेफ गार्ड कर रहे हैं अपने आप को। पर अभी के लिए तो देखिए टीम देवा यूनाइटेड होरस के ऊपर भी शॉट लगाए, टीम गॉडलाइक भी धीरे धीरे करके इस तरफ आती हुई वुडू को डाउन कर दिया है, सैवेज भी डाउन। स्टॉप्स कहाँ पे है? स्टॉप्स की जरूरत थी यहाँ पे, बट अब स्टॉप्स मुझे लगता है कि रिवाइवल के लिए भागेंगे, बट सैडली भाग नहीं पाए। हो रहा ई स्पोर्ट्स का खात्मा होता हुआ, लेकिन iQOO टोटल गेमिंग बैक इन एक्शन, सामने की तरफ से प्लेयर्स को डाउन करते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। बट यहाँ पे डिलीट को डाउन कर दिया गया है टीम गॉडलाइक इट इज, और शैंकी के द्वारा मुझे लगता है कि डिलीट के रिवाइवल की प्रक्रिया स्टार्ट हो तो रही थी, लेकिन यहाँ पे शैंकी को मुश्किलों में डाल दिया गया है। चलिए डिलीट का रिवाइवल तो हो चुका है, माफिया के द्वारा वो रिवाइवल हुआ। गॉडलाइक भी काफी अच्छी तरीके से फाइट को एग्जीक्यूट कर रही है। ऑटोबॉट्स आई डोंट नो कितने अंक निकाले हैं अभी, बट जिस तरीके से मेरा एस्टिमेशन है, मुझे लगता है 80 का आंकड़ा शायद वो टच कर चुके हैं। लेकिन एनएक्सटी अब ये फंस चुके हैं। आईवी रिपटाइड रिदम का प्रयोग किया गया, एनएक्सटी के खिलाड़ी अब ओपन में आ चुके हैं। केडी वॉट को डाउन कर दिया है, दिस इज द राइट मोमेंट, ये सही मौका है टीम ऑटोबॉट्स के लिए। ऐश को डाउन कर दिया गया है, वाइल्ड फॉक्स आखिरी खिलाड़ी अभी के लिए ग्लू वॉल के पीछे है। बट क्या अब टीम ऑटोबॉट्स आगे बढ़ के टीम हिंद को एलिमिनेट कर पाएगी? साहिल जाट डाउन है, हिंद के शोटो नजर आते हुए, और अब ये ऑटोबॉट्स के प्लेयर्स इस मुकाबले की बुया की तरफ बढ़ते हुए। इस समय पे सबसे ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग कंटेंडर है बुया के शोटो, खिड़की से अंदर आए, शोटो का वेलकम कर दिया गया है। मैड गॉड को डाउन किया गया, लेकिन अभी मैड गॉड को डाउन करने वाले वाइल्ड फॉक्स को भी डाउन कर दिया जाएगा। एक आखिरी खिलाड़ी टीम हिंद के खेमे से, और ऑटोबॉट्स का बुया आता हुआ इस मुकाबले में भी।
ये खिलाड़ी निकला है अगले कॉइन मशीन एंड वेंडिंग मशीन पे टीममेट्स को बचाने के लिए। टीम iQOO टोटल गेमिंग, सामने होने वाली टीम स्ट्रॉ हैट्स रिसेंटली यहाँ पे चैंपियन बनी अपने डोमेस्टिक स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर, डोमेस्टिक टूर्नामेंट के अंदर। और अगर हम बात करें इस समय टीम iQOO टोटल गेमिंग, बिल्कुल उनके सामने होने वाली है। पीछे से जाएंगे, हैशटैग हमला करेंगे, हैशटैग आगे जा चुके हैं, 2 एलिमिनेशन झोली में होने वाले हैं। हैशटैग को नॉक करा है, बचाना पड़ेगा टीममेट्स को, यूनाइट होकर खेलना पड़ेगा। पर क्या स्ट्रॉ हैट्स अपना एलिमिनेशन बचा पाएंगे? जीना है। यहाँ पे 2 खिलाड़ी को नॉक करा है, माफिया कमाल की स्नाइपिंग करते हुए 2 खिलाड़ियों को नॉक करके निकाला है। इस समय नील एंड वू की हेल्थ कम, नील आखिरी सर्वाइवर, वो यहां से निकलना चाहते थे, नील की हेल्थ कम, और इसी के साथ क्या टीम स्ट्रॉ हैट्स एलिमिनेट हो जाएगी? बड़ा प्रश्न चिन्ह होने वाला है। यहां पे रिवाइवल दिया गया, थीवा के साथ अपने टीममेट को बचाने की कोशिश, शॉट को बचा लिया गया है, पीछा करते हुए डिलीट आगे जा रहे हैं। नील पे हमला होने वाला है, नील को स्पॉट करा और पूरी स्ट्रॉ हैट्स को एलिमिनेट करा है। टीम iQOO टोटल गेमिंग बैक इन फॉर्म। आखिरी टीम, आखिरी बाधा टीम हिंद के सामने है। टीम हिंद इंडिया की इकलौती टीम इस समय जो सरवाइव कर रही है, इकलौती टीम जो टकरा सकती है, एक्सपेंड के इस कहर को रोक सकती है। बाकी टीम्स के लिए, केवल अपने लिए नहीं, सभी के लिए राहत की सांस लेकर सकते हैं, पर एक्सपेंड को रोकना इस समय नामुमकिन है। एक्सपेंड समझ लीजिए एक बवंडर की तरह आगे आ रही है। देखने वाली बात है किस तरीके से एक्सपेंड आगे प्ले करती है। इसे कहते हैं ताकत, बल, शक्ति, पराक्रम, जोर, क्षमता, सामर्थ्य, रुतबा, रौब, खौफ, दबदबा, हुकूमत, साम्राज्य, अधिपत्य, प्रभुत्व, वर्चस्व और अखंड साम्राज्य। ये गन फाइट लेना एक बड़ी भूल हो सकती है एक्सपेंड से। एक्सपेंड आगे जा चुकी है, हिंद पे हमला करते हुए, हिंद के खिलाड़ी नॉक होते हुए, वहां सायन को नॉक करा जाएगा। शोटो यहाँ पे आगे बढ़ेंगे, अभी भी एक्सपेंड के पास मैन एडवांटेज हो सकता है। एक लौते खिलाड़ी शोटो आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, जोन का डैमेज, क्या शोटो यहाँ से क्लच पुल करेंगे? बड़ा सचिन, और जी हाँ, शोटो यहाँ से क्लच पुल कर देंगे। मिड लेवल पे आपको नजर आ रही है टीम ऑटोबॉट्स इस कंपाउंड के अंदर। एरिया बहुत अच्छा है, एक्सपेंड को रोक सकती है, एक्सपेंड को रोकना पड़ेगा, उनके कहर को रोकना पड़ेगा। इस बार एक्सपेंड पे हमला भी करा जा रहा है, रेवेनेंट एक्सपार्क ने भी हाथ खोल दिया है। टीम एक्सपेंड एक एक करके खिलाड़ी नॉक करवाते हुए, उनके खिलाड़ी और ज्यादा नॉक होते हुए, आपे आखिरी खिलाड़ी जोन में हील बैटल करना इकलौता है उनके पास।
हेलो नमस्कार सत श्री अकाल आदाब, कैसे आप लोग? टियर लिस्ट, टियर रेटिंग लेके आ चुके हैं आपके साथ, और आज हमारे साथ टियर रेटिंग करने के लिए 4 अमेजिंग एथलीट जुड़े हुए हैं। चलिए शुरू करते हैं टियर रेटिंग की। सबसे पहली टीम गाइस ऑटोबॉट्स,
पिछली बार काफी अच्छा खेले थे वैसे, तो हीरोइक तो रख सकते हैं इनको।
अब हमारे सामने आ चुकी है टीम गॉडलाइक।
ग्रैंड मास्टर पे रख दो।
हाँ मेरे हिसाब से भी ग्रैंड मास्टर पे भी।
नोबिता यहाँ पे स्माइल दे रहे हैं कि आप कहीं पे भी रख ले, लेकिन मेरे लिए तो गॉडलाइक दिल में रहेगी, दिल से गॉडलाइक। और अब अगली टीम है स्ट्रॉ हैट्स।
स्ट्रॉ हैट्स को डायमंड पे रख सकते हैं, मारते तो अच्छा मारते हैं लोग।
इनका बंदा वेंडिंग पे कैंप करके बैठा था भाई, इनको प्लेटिनम पे रखो।
फाल्कन्स को कहाँ रखा जाए, चारों खिलाड़ियों से पूछूंगा मैं।
ग्रैंड मास्टर से भी
मास्टर
ऊपर
यार,
अगर होती तो अगर रख देते इसको तो।
चैंपियंस पे रख दो, चैंपियंस पे कुछ एक बनाओ उस पर।
हाँ, एक चैंपियन का बना दो।
बिगेट्रॉन बाय वाइटैलिटी, इन्हें कहाँ रखा जाए?
ग्रैंड मास्टर पे रख दो।
ये भी भाई है भाई,
ग्रैंड मास्टर पे रख दो,
रख दो ग्रैंड मास्टर।
iQOO टोटल गेमिंग कहाँ रखना चाहेंगे?
ग्रैंड मास्टर यार वो।
ग्रैंड मास्टर पे ही रख दो।
और अब टीम हिंद हमारे तेज FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग के चैंपियन और
चैंपियन है, और इंडियन सर्वर में तो इनका कंपटीशन कोई दिख नहीं रहा है।
ग्रैंड मास्टर डालो इनको, क्योंकि अभी स्क्रिम्स भी चल रही थी जो बाहर की, उसमें भी काफी अच्छा खेल रहे थे।
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, survivors of all ages, welcome to the free Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 Summer. Yesterday, day one, it was nothing but back-to-back shockers. Today, Group B and C take the center stage. The final 6 games, the final 6 chances for those in Group B. The fight is for the top 8 spots in the main event, and things are getting a tad bit more intense. Some teams are flying, others are desperate, but we are excited. My name's AJ. I'm the Stasher down here with the one and only Crips. We are your casters for the first 3 games.
Yes, and it's going to be an absolute banger 3 games because all these teams who've been playing yesterday are already in good form. Even the teams who weren't performing that well weren't actually missing out on a lot of points. So overall, I think the teams from both Group A and B have set a decent enough benchmark. So let's see what's going to happen when the teams of Group C step into the mix today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm excited to see what they can do out there on the battlefield because yesterday, Flame Esports, they showed us the shocker from Bangladesh that none of us were expecting, right? I mean, yeah, Extreme X, I think they kind of set the bar the last time around and we thought that, okay, that's great from Bangladesh already. So they're going to be like, the mid-table contenders, probably, just bringing some pressure, making the Booyah a tad bit difficult for the usual, good performers. But Flame Esports came yesterday, and for the first time ever, we saw just pure amazingness out of this squad, which is a little bit of a shocker, right? Because the last time, this is the second time they're at the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. The last time they played the South Asia play-ins, they were placed 18th, Crips.
Exactly.
So this is a world of difference for them.
Exactly. And what's even better is that they are not the only team that has had this sudden shift in momentum, that's had this meteoric rise in their power levels. I'm so happy for Flame Esports because yes, they're obviously performing well, so kudos to the Bangladeshi teams for this one. But even Hotshots, for that matter, have been performing really well. I mean, they have a lot more experience than Flame Esports, let's be honest. They've participated in this entire ecosystem for a lot longer, but yet they've struggled. But yesterday they did not. So we've already seen a little bit of the South Asia play-ins yesterday. We will be seeing more of it today as well as tomorrow. So across these 3 days, we will have a total of 18 games, 12 games per group. But at the end of this, only 8 teams will move forward to the main event, which will again happen for 3 more days before we move on to the grand finals on 21st of June.
Yeah, I can't wait, man, because clearly summer is proving to be the biggest, the baddest, and the most exciting Free Fire Max Asia Invitational that we have gotten thus far. Later on, when we go into the introduction of squads, we won't go into the details just yet, but there are some teams. You'll see those tiny little logos here at the main event. Those are the teams that are invited from both South Asia and Southeast Asia. This time, we are switching it up, right? We're not inviting the tier 2 squads. We are literally inviting the best of the best from each and every single region. The top 8 from South Asia moves on to meet those monster scripts.
Yep, and I think that by the time the top 8 from South Asia get to the main event, they also will become monsters to some extent. Maybe not as big and scary of a monsters as the teams that are already invited into the main event. Those guys have been competing at the highest of the highest echelons of Free Fire Max since a very long time. So they have experience and firepower on their side, but I hope that the 8 teams that qualify from the South Asia play-ins stand somewhat of a chance in the main event because from those 18 teams, only 12 will make it to the grand finals. And of course, in the grand finals, we will have the champion rush condition. For those of you who are not familiar with it, it starts with a team getting 90 points. You get 90 points, they will activate the champion rush condition. This is 10 more than last time. Last tournament, we had the champion rush condition set at 80. It's a tad bit harder for them, but for most teams, they can do it within like 1 game just by getting a bunch of eliminations. Once you get that champion rush active, then you will have to win a game. You will have to win a Booyah to be crowned as the champions of Free Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 Summer.
Yeah, we recently saw the increased threshold from FFWSC with the 90 points, but the difference there was we also had the point rush stage before Champion Rush to get those additional 10 points. But I do have faith in these regions from South Asia and Southeast Asia. The run to 90, I'm pretty sure they won't keep us waiting for too long. We've got $50,000 on the table here for the prize pool, but only the teams that qualify to the main weeks of play gets to have a slice of this pie, and obviously the biggest slice will be that 15,000 up on top.
Exactly. So just by making to the main event, just by getting into the top 18, you will get a little bit of money. But that money is actually just a little bit. It's tiny. It's like 2 weeks of pocket money for a 12-year-old. But depending on which country you're from, depending on your living conditions and your status, of course. I'm not.
I've got questions, Crips. Can I be your friend?
You are. You have to ask that.
No, were you getting $500 per week when you were 12? Man, I don't.
Rupees, not dollars.
Okay. Man, I thought dollars. It's okay, Crips. I take back my request for the friendship. Point system.
What?
12 placement points. If you hit the booyah, 9 points for that second spot. You minus off 1 point for every consecutive spot you take on the leaderboard. Except down at the bottom, 11th and 12th place gets you no placement points at all. But you get to buffer your squad up with those eliminations. Every elimination counts for 1 point.
Yep. And if at all your score ends up being the same as some other team that were tiebreakers, we will first be comparing which team has more booyahs. If that also happens to be the same, we will then check if which team has more eliminations. And if by some miraculous stroke of luck that also happens to be the same. Hasn't happened, by the way. Up until now, there's not been so many coincidences. No. And if at all that also happens to be the same, then we will check your ranking in the final game to decide which team will take the higher spot. Yeah. I mean, we've seen some tiebreakers, but most of them just get determined by the number of booyahs. I don't think we've ever come down to the total eliminations tiebreaker situation, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it's never been that close. In fact, quite the opposite. There have been several teams who managed to make it into the top 12 or the top 8, depending on whatever the cutoff is, based on quite a lot of points, like at least 5 or 6 points, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're down to the last game of the day, that amount of points seems like an impossible mountain to climb.
Yeah, absolutely. I have finally, after multiple seasons of looking at this graphic, have decided to call this the 4 unique active skill rule, because that's actually the fact, right? Yeah, you need to have 4 unique active skills out there. You can't have multiples of any of the unique active, multiples of any of the active skills like we used to see in the past, right? If you allow these players, everybody will just be running around with 4 Oscars out there, the snipers, the rushes, no chances whatsoever for the other skills. But now, though, there's been so much of balance brought into the game where even the Iris, man, we've seen the Iris being played out there with such perfection so far, and I feel like the teams have kind of cracked the code in terms of making sure these active skills that they bring out there really benefits their playstyle.
Yeah, and speaking of playstyle, I have been thoroughly impressed by the playstyle of all the teams in Group B so far. GodLike had a terrible start yesterday, but they somehow managed to make it to the middle of the group, so they stabilized. Same with Nebula Esports, they won a booyah and they're sitting pretty nicely. Revenant XSpark seemed to be very safe. Flame Esports absolutely dominating the lobby yesterday with more than 100 points. Even Hotshot Esports performing, I think, in the best way that we have seen them perform so far. I think this might just be their career best. But there is only one team which I'm a little concerned for, and that is Straw Hats. And even then, Straw Hats have like 68 something points. I'm not exactly sure. But it's not terrible, right? It's not like they're in too much danger. If they keep up the same level of performance today, I think they should be good. So all the teams who are coming in from Group C, they are coming in fresh. They haven't played a single game yet, but they've had the opportunity to witness all their opponents yesterday, so they should be coming in with some preparation.
GodLike Esports yesterday, a slow day 1. They woke up on Nextera, stayed up at Bermuda and Kalahari, but today I'm hoping to see them wake up from the very start in itself. Nebula Esports, on the other hand, XGG Instinct, impressive opening day 1 booyah, and they placed well in the Spring South Asian play-ins, but they did not qualify for the grand finals, right? So this time around, they've been picked up by a new brand here. Let's see if or not that injection of confidence is going to get them into our grand finals.
Yeah, and Revenant XSpark have also had a bit of a lineup change. They've added Kunal to the roster, and Kunal used to be the brains of Autobots, who happen to be the most firepower-heavy team of India. So I want to see how Autobots will perform once they don't have Kunal, but that will be for the main event. For today, we have one more change, ladies and gentlemen. You see this team, Raiders United? Well, they've also got some good news to share. They have been picked up by Team Apex Gaming, and even though the name change doesn't reflect over here here in the game itself, in the tournament, we know that these teams now have financial backing, and I think that will be a massive boost to their mental.
Big booster, man. Raiders United, Tonde, Nepal Esports, total winners. All three at FFMAI for the second time. All three played the South Asian qualifiers at Spring. All three failed to qualify for the main week, right? So this is going to be very interesting out of Group C. But we've got some combination of strong squads as well. Teams like Extreme X, you talked about them during our rehearsals. They were very consistent out of Bangladesh, and we do expect to see them at the grand finals this time around as well. But of course, I do wonder if or not Extreme X is going to be able to make it through, because we've got so many other well-performing squads out of Bangladesh. Mainly, you saw yesterday Flame Esports, and you said it, man, 112 points. Insane run from the squad.
Exactly. Flame Esports were on fire. They're living up to their name. They're bringing the flames to the lobby as well. But last FFMAI, they were not even the best Bangladeshi team. The best Bangladeshi team happened to be Extreme EX. So, now that they are also entering the fray, I would like to see Flame Esports and Extreme X lock horns with each other again. The local rivalry displayed here on the international stage, that would be really cool. Even Hotshot Esports, I don't think I've seen them get 94 points in a single day before. So, everybody is stepping up when the moment calls to them.
And of course, if you look down there, the South Asia Plains during spring, the cutoff point was 169 points to make it into the main week. So it's going to be pretty rough for teams who can't catch up with that today, right? And again, the focus is going to be on Group P, mainly because they are on their last day of play here. But the Damage Kings from day one, like you said it, Hotshots, we've never seen them on a run like this, and we've never seen action so good out there on the battlefield. 16k on the damage, 25 eliminations, followed by KD God, who's a tad bit lower on the damage, but still higher than a Zoic, who walked away with 25 eliminations, right? So you know this guy is tagging everybody up there on the battlefield. Only problem is, I don't think Hin was walking away with many of those eliminations. Yesterday was a rough day for them, although that being said, they are still quite high up the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, KD God being on the damage leaderboard itself is a big deal, because KD God is not known to be the guy who dishes out the damage. He's supposed to be the brains of the team. Shoto is the spearhead of the team. He's the one that gets most of the eliminations. So now that there's two players of Team Hind on the top 5 list, that is super impressive. Even Flame Esports, for that matter, the fact that they have both Azoic and Toki over here kind of means that half of their roster is performing at full strength. The other two might not be on the top of the leaderboard over here, but they're also doing really well. So when the squad fires on all cylinders, 6 games are more than enough for you to build up quite a lot of points. And today, the 6 games will be played in this order. We'll start with Purgatory, then we move on to Kalahari and Solara. We take a tiny break, and then we'll be back with Bermuda and Nextera. The last map, as you guys know, will be randomized.
Yesterday, when we dropped into Purgatory, that's where we saw Flame Esports just light up the battlefield. 20 eliminations in that matchup. They walked away with the Booyah as well.
Yeah, that was
not many others. Yeah, not many other squads were able to keep up with them on this map. And so this is going to be their biggest test so far. What can they do on repeat? Can they bring in that same level of consistency? Or are we going to see some of these teams from Group C just be those spoilers in the storyline of Flame Esports to sneak that away from them? Especially, again, we've got Extreme X coming on through from Bangladesh. We've got No Rules as well, waiting to prove themselves out there.
Oh yeah, No Rules. I do not know what to expect from them. They did not really catch anyone's eye last time, but I'm hoping that they can perform well this time around. And they've got a fairly isolated drop over here in Fields, so it kind of implies that they won't have too many problems, at least to start things off. That being said, though, I'm really looking forward towards that Brasilia battle, because Raiders United, Extreme X, and Hotshot Esports are going to be dropping over there. Out of these 3 teams, I do believe Extreme X might take it slightly more passively. They might go for a split drop to minimize risk, but Raiders United and Hotshot Esports love Brasilia a little too much to relinquish that spot.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. We totally didn't talk about iQOO Total Gaming, right? Third run during the third run in here for FFMAI, 7th during 2025's FFMAI, 6th in spring. They're climbing up like the steps one step at a time, right? I would like to see them like a little kid try to skip past 2 or 3 steps as they try to climb up this ladder. This is the time for iQOO Total to really prove themselves, right? iQOO TG on their 3rd run, I'm expecting this to be that miraculous run for them. A team with a lot of promise, but I don't think they've shown up to the expectations of their fan base just yet, Crips.
Yeah, and I would also like to see how they adjust to their lineup change. Delete from Total Gaming is taking a temporary break due to some personal reasons, because of which they've picked up Vota. And now Vota had a phenomenal, I would even say a generational run while he was in SHUL Elite just a few months ago. It's so unfortunate that his team did not make it to the finals of their national championship. But that guy alone was carrying the team so hard. I would love to see him bring that momentum to Total Gaming.
Absolutely, man. Can't wait to see them in action in a little bit. Let's check out who you and I think are going to be at the top of the leaderboard. We both have got RNTX on our side. Revenant XSpark, we do expect them to explode on the battlefield. Flame as well, in terms of where they sit on the overall leaderboard. We are in a little bit of a different mindset about that. But iQOO Total Gaming versus Raiders United. Do you think Raiders are going to be explosive in this first match in itself to grab the #1 spot, Crips?
I think they will get the #1 spot, but not by virtue of getting the booyah. I think they will get a bunch of eliminations, because of which they should be able to get to the top spot, even if they don't end up in like the #1 spot. You know, even if they finish second or third, they will still have more than enough eliminations to overtake the team that gets the booyah.
Yeah, I mean, based on the numbers that they pulled in the last time round, I would doubt that statement. But based on the performance that we saw out of teams that we did not expect to wake up at all, damn, man, I think you might just be right. We could see that out of Raiders United today as they fly on into this map. Now, we're going to be starting off the flight path from Moat House, cutting all the way down into Mount Villa. So this is going to be opening up the space here for quite a number of squads early out of that flight. And Tonde Nepal Esports are going to be the ones at Moat House. We did see that Straw Hats may drop in here for that close encounter at Ski Lodge, and it seems like they're not backing away from a challenge. Total winners will be the ones closer to the vending machine.
Yeah, total winners already make landfall, so I think Straw Hats are in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, in Fields, we thought No Rules would have absolutely no problems, but there are big problems. They have a drop clash against two teams over there. Meanwhile, GodLike Esports also split dropping across Brasilia and Fields. They've got Marco down here, but Maheen finds him already. So that's a rough start for GodLike Esports. I don't think they can recover this one. Just get to the weapons. I don't even know if you've got the ability to use the vending machine just yet. Yeah, there you go. They do use it. But priority should be to just get weapons now, but they can't the moment he steps out of that window. Toki blows his head off.
Yeah, Flames dropping by as No Rules approaches the rest of the GodLike players. This is GodLike at a huge disadvantage here. Marco earlier got shot from the back. This has been really terrible at Lego when he was a kid. Just couldn't stack them up properly. But that turned out to be a huge blessing for GodLike because he got taken out early. That early revive keeps them in the game. Yogi as well. So GodLike on a rough start from the get-go here.
Yeah, I mean, we see Yogi already crossing over towards that other island, towards Marbleworks. That's a good shot onto Patlu. Yeah, but Yogi, generally, most of GodLike Esports drop towards Marbleworks. I don't know why they dropped towards Field this time. That change in the drop location, it's going to cost them a little bit of time. Maybe even some early momentum.
Oh, early momentum for sure, man. Flame still in a tough fight up against the players from No Rules and dies with the Valiant Dash. I thought he was about to get away with that one. Russell, the very final player from the side of Flame. He cannot get taken out of the situation. No Rules going in for the chase. Manu! And he pulls away that final second revival. Still alive.
Oh, is he alive?
Yeah, how is he just dodging all of these shots? Waiting for Taz to drop back in here, but I don't think he's going to come in for the double chow. And Flame on a rough start as well. No Rules. Damn, man, the teams from Bangladesh are on fire.
He left Manu at 11 HP. Oh my god. He was doing such a good job of isolating those battles. Like, he was like Houdini, bro. He's running around between those windows, blocking out every exit whenever he thinks the opponents will close up. And then he gets to a spot where he knows he will have the TPP advantage and he can pre-fire the opponent. Hold up, though. What happened to Flames? They just went down in a ball of fire.
Yeah, they ran out of fuel and now just left with fumes. Unfortunate for Flame. Early exit. And as predicted, their brothers from Bangladesh kind of ruining the run there for them.
Oh, no.
This is the kind of excitement we expected here at the South Asia Plains, and we're getting exactly every single bit of it. Raiders United in a big fight. It is Tonde Nepal Esports in a huge tussle up against them. We don't get to catch that action. But Tonde Nepal left with just one final player on their squad.
Yeah. It's been 3.5 hot minutes, and Tonde Nepal Esports are already in shambles. Flame, the team that did really well yesterday, getting eliminated at the hands of their own national rivals. We've got Total Gaming changing prop locations. Why are you guys over here? Why are you guys in Marbleworks? What business do you have here? More importantly, why is GodLike not here? There's been so many changes in these drop locations. I sometimes wonder if these teams are actually playing this to conceal their actual strategy, or if they just want to farm up eliminations on an early run.
I think it might just be the former, right? You don't really want to give away your secret sauce so early on. Tonde Nepal out early alongside Flame. Extreme X now in a big fight up against iQTG. It's a 4v2 for the time being. Sejan and Tusin, they do have the electrotherapy on their side. iQTG, great guns to take a CQC. Those shotguns, the Mag 7, the M590, they even have a Charge Buster on their side. Winchester for that long-range engagement. Aztec and Shanky need to be careful though, Sejan. Ice grenade tossed out. Shanky's still not finding, but Rusty with the flank. This could be a big play.
Oh, there you go. Mafia lands the first shot. Gets the opening onto Tusin. Instant revival trying to come through, but the Tiva doesn't come through in time. They block the exits, but it's only going to buy them a couple more seconds. Maybe Sejan's knock can finally turn things around. He gets the flag onto Shanky. Vota deploys the time turner. Dash right into that time turner. Sejan gets his head off. Aztec tries to pre-fire. The Swag 7 connecting really well. And there you go. The revive comes through, but the Skyler Riptide Rhythm breaks open their cover, leaving it all in the hands of Mafia. He goes prone. He's lying low. He's hoping that they forget where he is, but he's trapped in a very precarious situation because the rest of EXE have already revived their fallen members.
Whose Riptide Rhythm was that? Was that a mistake from the side of iQTG? Because it was their own defenses taken down. EXE, on the other hand, Extreme X looking for the final player. Mafia on his belly, hoping and praying he's not spotted out. Lightning zone around him, but no, he's found. This is the end for iQTG. He's got 600 coins, but nowhere near the vending machine. And the end early here for the Indian squad.
And look what happens when the fight drags on for too long. Another cat has entered the picture. This time, it's Hotshot Esports. They want a little bit of third-party action, but I think they're a little too late. The party has already ended. Total Gaming has left the party. And now, GodLike are about to lock horns against Straw Hats. Well, I say GodLike, but it's actually just Marco. Gets caught out in the open with no backup whatsoever.
Great rotation from Nil on the court. Kunal found as well. Revenant XSpark not looking like they're going to blow up with those sparks just yet. Straw Hats finding those easy numbers on them as these teams look for the next circle. Extrov is going to get caught out. 3 players, and beautifully done with the Valiant dash. Sohan gets the break and the knock.
It's literally you reap what you sow. Straw Hats caught Marco alone in the middle of a rotation, and now poor Extrov gets caught in the middle of a rotation all by himself. Like, they literally lose their player the same way they got an elimination.
Oh yeah. Raiders United now up against Total Winners. This is going to be a big fight. Bunny, patience play, has got the chrono activated on his side. Sorry, ready for activation on his side. Jack going in for the chase. M590, one more shot needed, but the Valiant Dash knocks him to the ground. But Prince and that backup will put Jack down on the ground. Bunny from afar. This is Raiders United just taking over.
Absolutely taking over, and they've got Total Winner pinned down. Aflatoon getting surrounded from both sides. You got Troll in the front, Bunny in the back. And Bunny is literally just bunny hopping his way towards his opponent. Dodging every piece of utility thrown at him. Time turner popped in his face, jumps on top of the glue wall, breaking Aflatoon's ankles. He had no chance.
Raiders United, you were spot on, Crips. They are just farming these eliminations. 8 already. They are on fire right now. Getting picked up by an orc definitely gives you the kind of confidence boost that nothing else can bring to the squad. You kind of feel like, okay, our hard work's definitely paying off. People are noticing, people are recognizing our strength, and they're coming in here to back us up. And I think that these boys are on fire right now, but the journey's still long. They've got 8 more squads alive.
So while Raiders United is on fire, flames have been extinguished. Their flames have been carried over by Extreme X. They take over the torch, they take over the baton for now, and they are the only team that has more eliminations than Raiders United.
GodLike with a single elimination right now. Spark in the vehicle. Hotshots versus Extreme X. This is going to be a hot one between the two nations. Grenade, Sajid hooking it up. Extreme X walking away from those trees, those glue walls. Just 7 left on his side. The rest of the team members trying to flank around from the back. It's going to be a full-blown battle here, but Hotshots need to be careful. They choose to not back away. Nebula has a chance to interfere as well. They're heading straight for that vending machine. Tusin knocked down by Sajid. The Woodpecker played perfectly. Actions with the rush straight to the back. Sejan caught out. The backstab will not find him as he dashes away. Sejan with the perfect play for Extreme X up against Sajid, but a sliver of health left on him. Sajid shows up strong for Hotshots, and Extreme X is rusty. Can't save him with the M24 from afar.
Oh my god, the glue wall picks just in the nick of time, giving Sajid only milliseconds to pop that heal and continue onwards. Rusty, a little too far away. I think Sajid has done enough to keep himself safe, and luckily for him, GodLike Esports are showing up, so now all his opponents will be distracted fighting each other, so he can have a breath of fresh air. He can at least have a moment. Tiger, really good shots by him. Yogi taken down, but Marco trying to go for the res up top. Glue wall on either side, but there's nades landing on top of them, and it gets them both. Patlu with the perfect toss.
Oh, Patlu with the double nade, and both players get eliminated instantly. iQOO on that revival, and Yogi brought back, but Nebula wants the wipe. iQOO's going to get caught out. The Valiant dash, he thought he would get through the door, but he gets caught out. 6 eliminations strong here for Nebula, and they are looking like they are not going to put a pause on their aggression. Yesterday was just a day of awakening for the squad, and they're keeping up that momentum.
Yeah. I don't even think they need to keep up the momentum, quote unquote. They're just going from strength to strength. The momentum keeps getting stronger. So yeah, Extreme X also following down the same route. Like every time I think Raiders United have done enough to farm up more eliminations, Extreme X just one-ups them. Even GodLike, for that matter. I was actually concerned about the way this literally slammed into that fight with those vehicles, and they only have 1 elimination to show for it. So, yeah, clearly something needs to be fixed over here. It's because one team is running away with all the momentum, and the other team, despite how much they try to catch on fire, they're just feeling too cold.
Nebula yesterday on this map, only 3 placement points, 8 eliminations. So, they haven't caught up with their performance just yet. But looking at the way they're moving out there, they need to play this really careful. And this next compound is going to be quite open. GodLike on the double revival as well. And this was the battle between Hotshots and Extreme X earlier on. Sejan with that Valiant dash pulled off that execution perfectly. And Sajid, who had more life than him, stepped into the battle up against Sejan and just pulled that away. But he got so close, right? Sejan almost took Sajid down as well.
Yeah, almost a 1v2. Now Raiders United seem to have found their next target. Straw Hats. This time it's a proper 4v4. Raiders United advancing, encroaching on the territory of the Straw Hats, but they try to exit. Extra already taken to the skies has left the team. Not to escape, but to actually get a different angle. He's hoping that he can shoot down the Raiders United members from behind, and he connects. Lovely shot landed onto Jack, and that's the cue for Straw Hats to continue. Full sending in. They try to go for the res onto Jack instantly, but there's no time. They get jumped by Nil and Extra. It's all down to Troll, and he's falling, his HP dwindling, and Raiders United have been eliminated.
Yeah, Straw Hats sent them home. Extra, the playmaker in that battle for Straw Hats. Bangladesh is still blowing my mind. Did they just sign on a brand new coach for the whole nation or something? Because it's not luck at this point. The movements, the decision making, the angles are all so perfectly executed by Bangladesh. Not just by one squad. The whole nation is stepping up.
Yeah, and they're not afraid of taking risks, and that's the biggest thing. Normally, whenever somebody takes a jump pad, they become easy targets because everybody is good at mid-air sniping. But this time, instead of escaping, he decides to turn it into a pressure angle, and he basically surrounds Raiders United from both the sides. Revenant XSpark also are feeling a bit surrounded. They've got no rules on their right-hand side in the red building, and Nebula Esports on the left. Now, luckily, Nebula isn't breathing down their necks. They're not shooting at Revenant XSpark constantly like Raiders United. I'm sorry, like no rules are. So, Revenant XSpark feel the heat from that other side. But they will have to make decisions really fast because in about 5 seconds, this zone will shrink, forcing all the teams to move.
Oh, Revenant taking the fight straight up to Nebula. They understand that this is going to be a big risk because the players on the side of Revenant losing all of those glue walls already. Very low on the utilities. Winston comes flying in. Tusin will find Tiger. And Revenant XSpark getting the job done here up against Nebula. All of the players still up on the feet. And Extreme X helping out from the other side. Revenant XSpark got really lucky in that battle.
Yeah, but Extreme X did steal away quite a lot of eliminations from Revenant XSpark. They did not get rewarded appropriately for their efforts. And Extreme X not only steal the eliminations, but steal the better spot away from Revenant XSpark. Now they've got control of that other side of the road. So now they must have no choice. RNTX need to get into their vehicles and hopefully use them as cover when they finally get into the zone. Hotshots luckily taking shots from Straw Hat, so they won't be able to shoot Revenant XSpark. And as the Pakistani team continues to survive, they take down one more team with them. Lovely shot by Vincent, taking down Rusty, and now he's turned his attention towards Flicker. Can Flicker, the most experienced member of Extreme X, make this comeback? Because his teammates are losing way too much HP while trying to cross that road. And that's what happens when you don't cross the road without looking. You get run over. Sohan sends the car in one direction, gets out and uses the shotgun in the other. Arsh now trying to surround his opponents on the other side. They're basically trying to lock Sejan out of this blue zone. And it's all up to Rusty. Can he shake the rust off of his fingers? Can he actually terminate Revenant XSpark? Because he needs to use this advantage. At this point, Revenant XSpark are getting pressured from the other side. And this is Rusty's chance to shine.
A big brain play from Revenant XSpark. They almost ran out of utilities, very low on those glue walls. They chose to attack Nebula. Extreme X took advantage from the opposite side. They looted up the Nebula players. They now have the resources, but they do not have a good spot in the compound. Now left with Vincent, the sniper of the squad, all alone. With total winners towards his right. Straw Hats right in front of him. This is going to be a tough rotation for Revenant XSpark.
Meanwhile, Leo is just sneaky like a ninja. He's hiding and biding his time, hoping that nobody sees him. And when the moment is right, when the iron is hot, he will strike. He just needs to be patient enough. And he's not the only sneaky beaky person. Vincent is also trying to survive by himself, but he doesn't have nearly as much stealth as Leo does.
Man, but he got those quick feet, man. Strove, X-Strove, the shot from afar, but the time turner pulled out. And the recovery is there. Straw Hat's going to go for the easy picking first, attacking Vincent, forcing Vincent close towards the very edge of the circle. Shock should find this shot now. Valiant dash. Vincent gets his defense broken down, but Straw Hat still haven't found the finisher just yet. Vincent being attacked by the zone from the back, so he will not survive this one most probably. But still away the elimination onto X-Strove before he gets taken down by Shock. That Ice Grenade getting the job done. Now 3v3, and it is Straw Hats up against total winners.
Both the teams tossing their utility at each other like there's no tomorrow. Electrotherapy activated. That is the cue for Hunter and Prince to send it in. But they're trying to wrap around the right-hand side while Straw Hats move towards the left. This wall acting like the barrier. And Nil breaks through that barrier. Breaks through Prince's head. And who confirms the rest of the members? Straw Hats pick up the first booyah of the day.
Man, Bangladesh, can y'all stand up? They have been blowing my mind. The decision making in that final battle, absolute cinema. They were thinking ring around the rosy, but at one point they stopped. They sent two players, rounding up those players from the opposite side, and they got them pinched down a tiny little spot just behind their glue walls, and Straw Hats mechanically overwhelmed them. Total winners. Unfortunately, not the winners in that final circle. Outplayed by Straw Hats.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be a ring around the rosy moment, but most people don't realize that that poem, Ring Around the Rosy, is actually about the Black Death. It's about a dangerous plague. And this time, we have Straw Hats remind us that that dangerous poem is actually full of some really dark past.
You learn a bunch of stuff when Crips is on the casting desk, man. I never knew that, Crips. Right?
It's really dark. Most people don't know it. People think it's a children's poem, but no. Straw Hats shows the dark reality behind it. They say, oh yeah, let me remind you that Ring Around the Rosies is actually about death. And Straw Hats, they channel death right through their fingertips.
And this was that play where Who and Shocked just on that rotation round, the electrotherapy, and Nil just backing away, putting great distance between himself and the rest of the players out of total winners. And Straw Hats calculated that the communication would have been so sharp. The alignment between the team members just so perfect that they executed that final battle in the 3v3, not facing any difficulties whatsoever, no hiccups. And when they went in for the strike, it was a perfect one. They walk away with the booyah. And man, 16 eliminations as well. This is one of the better runs. This is one of the best runs for Straw Hats on Purgatory.
Exactly. Not just in Burgundy. I think overall, I think this might just be their best run because yesterday as well, I did not see them perform so well that they farm up 28 points in just a single game.
Right.
I mean, they had 61 points in total across the 6 games that they played yesterday. So this basically is like half their points from yesterday that they make up in just a single game. A massive jump for Straw Hats. That being said, though, Extreme X also coming into this lobby swinging fully. 16 eliminations for them in their first game of the entire tournament. That's very impressive. Both the Bangladeshi teams performing really well. Total winner, good balance, 9 each, so they got a total of 18 points. Even Revenant XSpark for that matter. I am so surprised that even though the last member of Revenant XSpark was getting shot at, somehow Straw Hats ended up getting, I'm sorry, not Straw Hats, somehow Hotshot ended up getting eliminated way before Revenant XSpark. And he takes down one more player before he bites the dust. So he manages to get 2 extra points in those last few seconds of his life.
Yeah,
Raiders United, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it was cool that Straw had still managed to go for the booyah after they lost extra, right? That was the player that Vincent took out from outside the zone. Crazy stuff. And you're right, man. Raiders United not focusing on the booyah. They get the booyah's equivalent through the eliminations instead, giving them a total of 14 points. Not the best, but it's still a very decent run for their first game. And of course, your MVP, the one and only extra, the guy who got taken out by Vincent in the final sequence, up on top. And he is the good reason why Straw Hats were not annihilated earlier already. Great positioning, using that Moss to its full ability. Marco Moro and Suzy going in here for the replacement for that Raphael instead to make sure he's got that extra coins to bring back his buddies in case anything goes wrong. But nothing went wrong for Straw Hats in this game.
Yeah, nothing went wrong, and that was partially due to Extrov's superior positioning. I mean, whether it's him taking the jump pad to flank Raiders United and win that team fight, or whether it's him climbing up on top of that high ground on that crane to give more overwatch to his teammates to provide some covering fire from up top. No matter what position he takes, he is always in a good spot to back his teammates up. And all of this with just his positioning and his game sense. It did not even require Morse.
No, it definitely didn't, man. Looking at the lineup of active skills here, the Moss, Cassie, Oscar, Nero clearly shows that Straw Hats wanted to go for an aggressive play and that Moss was just that backup, right? You always see Extrov staying far, far away from the rest of the team members, but the 3 who are on the front lines, obviously that Cassie and the Oscar constantly putting a lot of pressure on the players up front. Nil kind of staying behind as the support player for the squad, as their bomber as well. And you can see he's one of the players that do bring in the enhanced hammer. They are one of the teams who understand the need for extra firepower out there in a savage lobby like this. Every single player from the side of Straw Hats performed with the eliminations this time around.
Ooh, damn, those are some very impressive numbers. I mean, the fact that their lowest player has 1600 damage is very good. It's almost 1700 damage, 1696. And then you've got Shocked and Nil both at 2700 damage. That is really cool. How on earth does Extrov get 5,448 damage but then only 5 eliminations? It's a crime. He got 9 knockouts, which means some of them must have been either stolen away or they probably dished out some damage from really afar and then they weren't able to convert it. So, yeah.
Definitely one of the more dangerous snipers out there, Extrop. We got to look out for the Straw Hat squad. And initially, Straw Hats just outside of Forge, right? They did drop by Ski Lodge as well. We were expecting a little bit of a tougher fight for Straw Hats, but they weren't really disturbed at the starting phase, except when they bumped into the players of Revenant XSpark, and they went in for a little bit of a recovery play right after that. And that's the part where I respect about Straw Hats. They didn't go in for the straight pathing into the circle. They understood that they needed the coins, they needed to be battle ready before getting into towards the next zones, and that worked out perfectly for them.
Yeah, and look at that positioning. Straw Hats, by virtue of maintaining that entire control of the northwestern periphery, they were able to make sure no team gets the flank onto them. Especially when you got Extra, the man who is the master flanker, you will obviously make sure no other team outflanks you. So Straw Hats keeping all their opponents on one side of their circle. Now we head over towards the next map, Kalahari, and oh my god, what? AJ, do you look at that massive cluster and refinery? What on earth is going on there?
That's exactly what's got me tickled, man. I hope this is what we see in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure a couple of these squads will have the noodles to kind of move away from this hot action, especially after what they learned from that first lobby, right? You can't mess around with the group, the squads here from Group C. In fact, you really cannot make a mistake at the South Asia Plains. Everybody's hungry, and clearly everybody's very capable. The regions that we did not expect to wake up in such a strong manner are not just waking up, but they are stomping down their opponents, man. Again, Bangladesh has been the most impressive region in terms of quick improvement from the previous seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I can compliment more teams, you know, because Bangladesh, yeah, sure, they're definitely improving, but from Pakistan, only one team has improved so far, and that's Hotshot. So I wish I can say that for more teams. I wish we get to see a higher caliber of gameplay from every team imaginable. That will just raise the standards of the entire tournament as a whole. And they need to bring that level up because, let's be honest, there are some absolute monsters waiting for them in the main event. I mean, even the team that won the last FFMAI called themselves a Tier 2 champion. So that kind of tells you what kind of mentality these people have. It tells you that the bar is never high enough for them.
Well, they tickled the right feet with that comment, right? Because this time, we did not invite any Tier 2 teams. We invited the creme de la creme of every single region, so nobody gets to run their mouths. And you know what? The teams from South Asia not getting it done within the past 2 seasons does not tickle me at all, because this is the most important season to prove yourself. If South Asia wakes up in this season, then on the international stage, man, we are going to have some fun, Grips.
Exactly. Like, the Asia Invitational only brings the best of the best from this side of the world. But keep in mind, there are some bigger tournaments coming up on the horizon. And South Asia has been rather underrepresented. So this is their chance to prove to the rest of the globe that they truly belong on the international stage. And that is why the FFMAI 2026 summer tournament is so much more important than all the seasons that we've seen previously. Not just because the stakes are higher and the caliber of the competition is higher. On the ecosystem side as well, like away from the playing side, on the business side of things as well, there's a lot more teams investing money in this ecosystem as well. So yeah, the overall journey of the entire scene is on an upward trajectory. Speaking of trajectory, let's get into the next game. I want to see what predictions you have for this particular map, AJ.
Oh, man. I think Nebula's going to wake up a tad bit. I think Hotshots have to step it up after kind of flunking out a tad bit too early in the previous game. And iQTG, all 3 teams, I feel, had great potential on that Purgatory map. They just didn't step it up. But when you move into a place like Kalahari, you get to maintain the distance. You just get to force your snipers to do a lot of the heavy lifting and just avoid many of the initial encounters. And I feel like all 3 of these squads have got great snipers on their side, Grips.
That's actually a very good point. Shit. Now I think I should have also picked Nebula Esports because they have that sniping potential. I picked up GodLike over here because, I mean, let's be honest, I always pick GodLike on Kalahari. I am a little bit of a superstitious guy when it comes to this particular map, so I always pick GodLike. Because they control Refinery really well, and they have some really good snipers on their end as well. But the other 2 teams I've picked up have been picked up only because of their firepower, not because of their placement ability. So I kind of expect Kalahari to turn into a slugfest, to be honest.
Well, honestly, I'm just waiting for all of these squads to surprise us game after game. Give us some excitement, man. This is exactly what we live for. Flight path cutting through shrines all the way down to the sub, opening up the full map for play here. Revenant XSpark, first one's out, dropping in at shrines. And it looks like nobody's going to go to challenge them early, but somebody gets a binocular scan on this squad.
All right, then we'll find out exactly how many people are over there. That being said, though, look at that nice little cluster on Council Hall. It's going to be Nebula versus Flames. Meanwhile, in Bayfront, there's going to be Tonde, Nepal Esports versus No Rules, and potentially Raiders United third-partying. Somehow, Refinery is empty, even though I expected like 4 teams over there.
Yeah, Council Hall's hot here. Flame looking for the performance, but Nebula cannot afford to drop the ball. They need to make sure they bring Patlu back into play. Turning things around, Russell going in for the push with Toki, but the time turner turning things around here. Spark with the mini Uzi, half his HP left, and that Valiant dash was just for show. They got the spray down.
Yep, Russell gets that confirmation. So that's Spark down. Nebula Esports losing their members. Spark instantly gets brought back into the battle, but now they've got Swaroop isolated over here, and nobody from Nebula Esports is close enough to provide him any sort of cover.
Yeah, good play from Tiger on that revive, and now The players on the side of Tonde Nepal Esports losing their lives one after the other. Supreme and Blue got taken out of the equation already, and it looks like No Rules has got no mercy. Tonde Nepal backing away from those vending machines through Reagan. The other player will try to play the distraction for the time being. Swaroop overwhelmed by a Zoic. The time turner step around works out perfectly for the guy on the M590.
Yeah, Flame Esports have done really well to clean up Council Hall. Now I want to see if they chase the rest of Nebula Esports across the map. Meanwhile, in Bayfront, things are heating up. No Rules goes for the dash straight out of the time turner. He could have done so much to surprise Bunny over here, but ends up accomplishing nothing. And Troll shoots him down from the back. That was rather unfortunate for Manu.
Oh, that's a beautiful play. Yes, the Valiant Dash was used, but the time turner was timed absolutely perfect. And the backup shot coming through as well, right? This is what we are expecting out of Raiders United. But now Bunny, under some pressure, will be sprayed down by Frenetic. And it looks like Bunny's not going to be backing away from his spot just yet. Using that medkit. Frenetic just not quick enough. Mahir finding the right angle for the side of No Rules. Although Frenetic gets sprayed down and out of this round, I think No Rules is still going to force the issue here. They don't have to back away just yet.
They don't, but Raiders United are backing away already. Troll just about makes it across that gap, but he's going to be so exposed here. Maheen? Oh, wait, he's changing trajectory because his other teammate Mahir just went down, and just when he was distracted, Troll backtracks and shoots down him in the head. Manu has control of the vending machine, but he's getting pushed already. Troll right up his back, and it's just down to the one player that they revived. I hope he can at least get to the ground before he gets shot off.
Oh, big fight here, GodLike. This is Revenant XSpark. Vincent flanking around, and they are on the hunt. Yogi, can you get away? Arsh with the M590. Vincent here hanging back for the side of Revenant XSpark. Yogi found iQOO, the final player, and I think they've got no info on where he is. iQOO brings Yogi back. GodLike will somehow still survive.
Yeah, I think GodLike are not just surviving here, they are actually thriving. They have lost 2 players, but let's be honest, they kind of overextended. That's the only reason they lost those 2 players. Otherwise, they seem to be in good control of themselves. Most of the time, whenever GodLike survives the first 5 minutes, if they can survive that refinery drop clash, they are generally set for the game. And this time, there was not much of a clash, so I think they're good for now.
It's the replay earlier on GodLike. They just saw Revenant XSpark take the jump pad, find their spot, but Arsh just pulled up those glue balls in the nick of time. And Sohan's spot, Nancy just could not find the Punisher because of that perfectly timed time turner. And you saw the rest of the play break down and GodLike making the run for it. What a perfect ambush by Revenant XSpark.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was, now that I see it in the replay, it mostly came down to Sohan and his individual heroics over here. Like, he forced that gunfight against Nancy, even though it was disadvantageous. And Sohan continues to take those audacious battles. He has no reason to force a 1v1 over there. His teammates are right around the corner. He could have repositioned and double-peeked the opponent, but no! There is something of an ego in this guy. He will force that 1v1, that ego clash, and he will win it too.
Sohan on the 4 eliminations already. He's looking for those big numbers. And Revenant XSpark definitely expected a lot from the squad. Let's see if they can deliver over here today. Out in Group B, it's their final 6 opportunities. Straw Hats losing their players. And Extra again, the sniper from their side, out of the equation fairly early. But there is a vending machine at Bayfront, and they've got enough coins to get their buddy back.
Yeah, Straw Hats are actually doing decently. They don't have enough eliminations, but they've controlled this northwestern sector quite well. The only team that could have actually challenged them was the team that was beating Nebula Esports down to a pulp in Council Hall.
Yeah.
But it seems like that threat is no longer here.
I think Straw Hats will need massive games today because, you know, we saw the cutoff point earlier on and they only had 60 plus at the start. So them stepping it up on that very first game is a big booster for Straw Hats in terms of confidence. They just need to hang on. But they shouldn't switch to a safe play just yet. I really love it when they are on their aggressive run. But Raiders United on the aggressive run once again. This is a team that should not wind up a little bit too quick because of those early exits. As they try to back away, the vending machine is on their side. Bunny will get to the safest spot. 1002, 2 revives, easy play. They're right back in it.
Alright, Jack on the low ground. He spots out a Zoic, tries to force that angle upstairs and lands that shot! He lands the shot before his feet land on the platform.
Oh, man. That was one of the best on-arrival shots we've seen. Prince traded out, though. And it's Marco from the side of GodLike tickling the players on the side of Raiders United. Flame dropping back in as well. You saw Xtrove getting that knock. And the players on the side of Tonde Nepal Esports stuck in another battle once again. It's Hotshots this time, trying to take a pick at the squad.
Sergeant back in the way to hopefully get another angle onto Reagan. But it's actually Blue Hero that they need to be worried about. Oh, look at that grenade launcher.
Oh, man,
destroys
wow.
Cheapo. And now they kind of force the rest of Tonde Nepal Esports near this arsenal. Reagan desperately needs some backup, but he's got nobody covering him. I don't think Blue God will be able to find any angles to help Reagan out because he's being pressured and suppressed already. Nade primed. Action wants to toss it. And it connects. Reagan gets blown apart. And that perfectly cooked nade gets them yet another elimination. Hotshots are playing so well today.
Oh, yeah, you can say that again, man. Hotshots, 9 eliminations on fire. Straw Hats finding themselves. A couple of plays from the side of Nebula, but a double revival from Tiger will keep Nebula still in the run. The circle's quite wide so far. The squad should be able to make their way back in here on those revives. But Nebula needs to figure out on how to loot their way back into this game. And Straw Hats, on the other hand, doing decently well for themselves, but only 4 eliminations. They need way more than that in this match.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the other teams yesterday were able to get 80-something points at the very least. So even if they perform at the same level, if you double up 80, you will get at like 160 points. That's good enough, right? But Straw Hats had only 61 points, so they will need at least 100 to be, you know, to be safe. Meanwhile, Total Gaming, I cannot, for the life of me, tell whether they are having a good time or not. Because every single time I see their gunfights, it looks nice. But then I see their overall macro, it seems not so nice. So I'm kind of trapped over here in between on whether I can even make up my mind or not about the performance. I guess we'll have to wait and watch and see what happens, how many points they farm up at the end of this day.
Yeah. It's okay, iQOO. We still believe. We still believe.
Yeah.
GodLike. We'll pick Yogi right back up here. And like you said, usually on the refinery platforms this time, backing away a tad bit here, still playing those platforms. It's not on the main deck. Flame watching them from afar. GodLike just not looking like they want to put themselves in a fix here by going in for that early engagement. The electrotherapy between the two players on the side of GodLike is going to be very strong in those up-close and personal battles, but just being shot from afar by Flame is not going to help them because they're going to be wasting a lot of those coins on revivals, and there's no vending machines close to GodLike at this point.
Exactly, and GodLike have had that problem before as well. They lose 2 of their players early on in the game, and then they somehow have to spend the rest of the game trying to just go on this constant mission of gathering coins, vending machines, and it's a never-ending process. Like I said that they were playing Revive Simulator the other day, and I'm like, yeah, bro, it seems like an accurate name for the game that they are playing. They're no longer playing Fire Max. Look at this, look at this massive jump. Yeah, they're landing right on the left-hand side of GodLike.
And they are going to take control of the vending machine that GodLike should have moved to. And what a rotation by Flame. They'll get a big advantage for the circle as well. Straw Hats on the other hand, losing 3 players. Xtrop, the sniper, the only one left alive. And the man's dead broke.
Yeah, he's got absolutely nothing going for him. It's third circle, so in like 30 seconds, he's going to start taking way more damage than he wants to.
Yeah, no team boost is activated there as well.
Oh yeah, so that's even more problematic. Seems like finally Straw Hats will be put to rest. Unless Xtrof can pull off a miracle.
Let's see if GodLike can make something work off of this platform play. Hot shots. Oh, this jump is going to be big one. And iQOO sees that coming. They spray them out of the air. And Hotshots will get the revenge play as well. Sajid now flanking around towards the right. And you see Anas moving towards the top as well. Hotshots, this is a very interesting play. Ice grenade distraction by Sajid. Is Anas going to do anything or focus on those revives? Sajid keeping the whole squad of iQOO busy.
Yeah, Sajid is basically buying time for Anas to make a play. And I really thought that Anas already made his play. He got like 2 knockdowns onto Total Gaming, but DG recovered very quickly, basically giving no chance for Hotshots to close in the distance and capitalize on those double knocks.
Without Anas getting those 2 knocks, escaping would have been bloody impossible. So what a wonderful play out of the Hotshots team. Again, like I'm saying, this is not luck, right? It's not just taking some wild shots and getting extra damage or whatever. The decision making from Hotshots has improved by miles, and I've been watching this squad for years now.
Yep. And they were on an upward trend. They improve like 10% every tournament, but this time it feels like they've improved by 100%. It's a meteoric rise. So something has gone right for them, and I hope that they keep making those right decisions again and again.
Sechan finding Vincent, Revenant XSpark, not looking too good. iQTG, big rotation, Aztec, a sliver of health. Can he make the rotation? No, he cannot. Gets caught out there, and it will be Tonde and Nepal taking those free shots. iQTG on the final rotation, Mafia, those glue walls laid out by the initial players who find the drop will be that safe haven for the rest of the team members to complete that rotation. And they take those shots right back at Tonde and Nepal, slowing them down.
That worked out way better for Total Gaming than I thought. But Sohan with that triple elimination eliminates Extreme X entirely. But coming back to Total Gaming, that rotation worked out for them way better than I thought. They had a player knocked. They knocked one player of Nebula in return. They knocked one player of Tonde Nepal Esports in return. So every team loses a player, but none of those eliminations actually come through. None of those knocks get turned into eliminations. All four members of all three of these teams are actually alive, and Total Gaming just manufactured a way inward for them.
Straw Hats on the revival run now. It's the perfect timing because this next circle is still quite far away from a lot of the other players. Nebula on the slow rotation round, just can't find a way in. iQTG, Flame, Tonde Nepal, all blocking their access. And a jump pad over them would definitely mean instant death. Someone's going to snipe them out of the air. So this is a tough one for Nebula.
Yeah, they're kind of trapped between a rock and a hard place. They've got Straw Hats watching their entrance. Nebula Esports, can they make it inside? They certainly can't afford to stay out here and keep healing. It's a fourth zone, it's going to hurt too much for that. They're hoping that somebody walks in first as a distraction. They're hoping that Flame Esports starts shooting at Straw Hats first. And now that they are, this is the perfect chance for Nebula to walk in. But guess who gets caught in the crossfire? It's Raiders United. They find themselves trapped between Straw Hats and Flame Esports. And there's another team shooting at them from top. That might be GodLike. Yep, they take down Prince. Jack and Bunny now trying to climb uphill, hoping that Flame Esports don't chase them down instantly. But Jack continues to turn around and shoot down Straw Hats just to keep his team alive, give them a sliver of hope. But there's way too many angles to cover. Forced to pop the time turner, forced to pop the inhaler. I don't think he can make it in there because even the heal UAV is not going to help him keep up with the amount of damage being dished towards him. Now, luckily, even Total Gaming is trying to climb up at the same time. So now Flame Esports finally gets a prize. He turns around and shoots him down. Vota takes down one more member of Flame Esports, and that actually clears up the way for Raiders United to climb up.
They're going to give up on their buddy here. Bunny, though, sprayed down. Yogi and the con will be the play that takes Flame out of the equation. This time, the Bangladeshi squad just could not make that perfect run. Raiders United on a massive run. I thought I saw 18 eliminations before they got taken out. So they play the numbers through eliminations once again. Straw Hats out in 6. A back-to-back-to-back squad elimination here as the circle just pushes things into chaos. Nebula somehow hanging on, but iQTG should be able to sort this out in a little bit.
Yeah, Spark is down to his last few points of health. But hey, he managed to get to the 5th place, man. He basically used Raiders United and Hotshots as his personal meat shields, used them as distractions so that they die first, and somehow he ends up getting to the 5th spot, getting his team a couple of more placement points. But now Total Gaming really need to be the villains over here because they've got GodLike showering bullets from the top of the hill upon them, and Tonde Nepal on the side. Hold up though, Yogi and Vota work in tandem to completely destroy Tonde Nepal Esports in a second, but that nade from Aztec turns the tide. GodLike thought that they would have the jump on Total Gaming. They thought that they would have the advantage, but that nade changes everything. Shanky walks right past iQOO, forces him to dash around the time turner, but Shanky now has him trapped. iQOO taking way too much damage from outside the zone. Mafia also trying to get the angle, but iQOO is trapped. He thought that he would have the advantage, but Total Gaming turned the tides in a matter of seconds, and now Revenant XSpark jump on top of them. It's all up to Mafia. Lovely shot connected. He takes down Sohan. Can he get the confirmation in time? Nope, he's forced to pop the glue wall, but it doesn't save him from Kunal's angle. Revenant XSpark turn this spark into a wildfire and get the booyah on Kalahari.
We are looking for them to climb, and climb they do. Second Booyah run here at the South Asia play-ins, and up at the top of the leaderboard, they will reign for a little bit more alongside Flame Esports. And because Flame got snuffed out pretty quickly in this lobby, it means Revenant XSpark is going to be dangerously close to the backs of Flame Esports. They need to watch out, or they're going to lose their number one spot to this Indian squad. We expected India to wake up, and they all did on this Kalahari map. That final circle, just one flag.
Yeah, man, damn. I mean,
this was that nade, man. I mean,
Yeah.
and that play from Shanky and Wota, choosing to go in for that rush, was exactly what prevented GodLike Nancy from getting the pull right back in. And GodLike just could not recover. And in the midst of all of that fight, Revenant XSpark throwing the Riptide Rhythm as well to play the disadvantage against the players of GodLike, and then the timing executed well right after looking for the shutdown onto iQTG. Things almost got shifted because Mafia was hanging on, but that VSK was not going to be enough. And towards the end, I have to say, Vincent, with the eagle-eyed shots from that high ground, definitely gave Revenant XSpark a big boost and a huge disadvantage for GodLike in that sequence.
yeah, GodLike got a bit too greedy. They see Total Gaming, Raiders United, they see all these teams fighting each other, Nebula also in the mix, and they're like, yep, this is a wonderful opportunity for us to grab a bunch of eliminations and stop these teams in their tracks as they try to climb uphill. Because we already have the high ground advantage, we should be able to win that fight. And truth be told, GodLike should have had no chance losing that fight. They had no business losing that fight, but that one nade from Aztec turned it around. And because GodLike were already too deeply invested in that fight, they can't back away now. So they had no choice but to, dig their grave deeper. And that's how Revenant XSpark basically got handed the booyah to them on a silver platter.
Decision-making perfection for Revenant XSpark, positioning supremacy as well towards that final zone. You saw them take that high ground advantage, and dodging a lot of the action was obviously very difficult, but Revenant XSpark just blessed with that rotation, and those time turners played perfectly in the sequence. The Riptide Rhythm out of Winston is one that we do expect to give Revenant XSpark a lot of these eliminations in a lot of those moments, but it was moments like that where you see exactly where the mind of Revenant XSpark is. Patience play, waiting for the timing, not getting too aggressive, and then getting themselves snuffed out. You could perhaps say that's exactly what happened to GodLike, where they could have played that a tad bit more safer, but it was rough, right? Because the circle was just that chaotic in this Kalahari map.
Yeah, Circle's always chaotic in this Kalahari map, but this time it feels like the chaos has a little bit of degeneracy. It has a little bit of debauchery mixed into it, because it's not just chaos, it's also bad manners. Teams just absolutely having no mercy for each other, sometimes having no instinct of self-preservation and just throwing their bodies into the battle without caring about the consequences or the repercussions. I think that's what the game felt like to me, because GodLike just made that dive downhill in the end, even though they did not need to. And because of that, Revenant XSpark walk away with the booyah and 15 eliminations. 27 points for them. But Total Gaming had to take the hard way around. They have 18 eliminations because they had to go through that ringer where there were like 4 teams along with them who are all trying to make it into the zone, and Total Gaming had to shoot down their oppositions and then race into the zone at the same time. They had the more difficult job over here.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But Raiders United, Flame Esports, Hotshot Esports, very impressive with their run. Just hyper-focusing on those eliminations, not really going for the placement points play at all, which could be a dangerous thing in a competition like this. You got to stack it up on all fronts. But at least they keep themselves pretty decent on that leaderboard through those plays. GodLike this time around, not as much on the eliminations, but at least they got far into that circle. You saw them in the 3-way battle within that final zone in itself. And Revenant XSpark now stepping up into that second spot, just 2 points behind Flame Esports.
Yep, so 130 plus for both Flame as well as Revenant XSpark. They're doing really well for themselves. Even Hotshot and Nebula Esports are on a good spot. I think with like 4 games left in the day, they should be able to cross into the 150 plus territory very, very easy. GodLike Esports also climbing a little higher with 105 points to their name. And Straw Hats, oh my god, they just went from 61 to almost 100 points in just 2 games. If they keep up this performance, I think they will be safe. I think they will more than make up for whatever they were lacking yesterday.
I mean, if they can get a 30 bomber, man, why not, right?
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what they need here for themselves. They almost did that in the Purgatory map, walking away with 28 points, close enough. And if anything like that comes true for another 2 or 3 games, then they can pretty much guarantee the top 8 spots for themselves. But it's going to be a tough one, right? We've got so many good squads in here for the South Asia play-ins. Everybody is equally as hungry as the other. But who's going to be the ones capable of pulling away the big numbers here? MVP for this match is Sohan from Revenant XSpark. 8 eliminations, 2,647 on the damage. Not too much. He might have gotten a lot of assists from the rest of his team members, or maybe even the opponents from across the side of the battlefield. But 3 assists in total. Rocking that Chrono, Nikita, Joseph, and Thiva as the backup support player as well in some of these situations. But this is what makes Revenant XSpark so dangerous. They don't have a pure decision maker out there who says that I'm going to help only heal the team. Even their healer is capable of annihilating their opponents.
Yeah, exactly. They're playing a bit of a hybrid setup over here, because you got Sohan generally rushing up close, and he doesn't use the Chrono as a defensive tool. He uses it as a tool to force shotgun battles where he has an advantage. He uses it as a tool to force your opponent into his range, into his comfort zone. So he's really good at dancing around that bubble, dancing around that Chrono shield.
I mean, there's no support play here in its practical sense on the side of Revenant XSpark. That guy was the support player. How crazy is that? Your support is one of the main rushes of the squad, and that's going to keep this team very competitive for these points. Hopefully, we see a lot more from Revenant XSpark, right? Oscar A124 Chrono Morse, super aggressive build, with Vincent the only one who strays away from the squad, using that Moko and Maro as the sniper of the team, has been able to give them a lot of those angles that enable their rushes to be so aggressive on the front lines.
Yeah, and even the rusher, the only thing that makes him semi-support is the fact that he's using J-Beams and Thiva for fast revives. That's pretty much it. None of them have like a Cassie, none of them have any way to actually heal up in the middle of battle. So yeah, I think it's a full-on aggressive team through and through, and that is kind of reflected in the way they play, because they only pick up fights where they know they will have a 100% win rate. They are not going to take any risks, so they don't need as much healing, they don't need as much tanking ability.
Revenant XSpark yesterday at Kalahari, we did see them take a dip in performance, but today they rise up to the occasion, rocking that booyah. And initially, it was the drop at Shrines which saw them pick up a very decent loot, and the battle up against GodLike, they chased them out of Refinery, went in for the hunt, and GodLike kept Revenant XSpark busy for a huge portion of this game.
Yes, they really did. I mean, both GodLike and Revenant were running around looking for eliminations, but didn't find anyone other than each other for the most part. So it's like they're star-crossed haters. They run around the map looking for eliminations, but they only see each other, just destined to fight against each other right up until the end. And this is when they kind of split up over here, because Revenant XSpark maintained that high ground advantage on top of that platform, but GodLike, they dipped their toes into the battlefield, they dipped their toes into that little pool of blood, and they like getting their hands dirty, they like fighting up close and personal.
Yeah, unfortunate for Raiders United. They're super hyper-focused on these eliminations, which I'm very much in love with. I love the action, I love the numbers, but they're not finding these final circles, and it's going to be a big problem for them in the grand scheme of things if they want to be champions, right? But if they just want to squeeze themselves into the main week, I think this run is going to be fairly decent for them. They had Casa Vista, but TV Tower is going to have some drama.
Okay, I don't believe this anymore. We saw 3 teams in Brasilia, 4 teams in Refinery, and now we are seeing 5 teams potentially dropping here in TV Tower. Like, the number of teams involved in a central clash just keeps on increasing with every single map. And at this point, I need to call cap, because we saw no clashes in Refinery in the previous game. And I seriously doubt any team is going to take such a risk of dropping into TV Tower with so many teams. I know for a fact that Tonde Nepal Esports like going towards Waterfall and even the hub sometimes. Maybe even Revenant XSpark will drop towards the hub, because they generally like that area. They like rotations. I don't know what Total Gaming is going to do. They've had way too many drop location changes on this map for me to actually put my finger on one particular spot for this.
You did talk about ego in our first game earlier on, and I feel like this is where the ego challenges might come on through, right? Because TV Tower is a spot where you can actually take a hot drop and potentially survive. It's all about how you strategize your way around this. You've got multiple levels on TV Tower. You've got a vending machine right on the ground floor. It's just that if you get your calculations wrong, and if more than 2 teams drop into the compound, and it's going to be a tad bit chaotic, man. Let's check out the predictions for this next match, Crips. I think 3 teams are about to step it up once again. Revenant XSpark and GodLike. This predictions I actually threw on before the day even started. And I'm not going to touch them because these guys are all on fire at this point.
Yeah, every single one of these teams is in good form right now. I would have said the same about Nebula Esports as well. Their fights are looking a little shaky, but nothing too problematic just yet. I don't think that they're in much danger so far. So I think they're going to have a good time. And Nebula Esports, I mean, back when they were called GG Instinct, they would love to jump in on any particular fight when there's like 3 players down, when one of the teams has already been wiped out. So their third-party skills are impeccable. And if they can just deploy those skills, I think Nebula Esports has the chance to win the Booyah. Meanwhile, the other 2 teams, I've only picked them up because of their firepower.
Oh, you know, if this was the previous season, I'll say Nebula can definitely get into the main week. But with Bangladesh waking up, with Hotshots just on fire right now, it's really tough to say if or not we're going to see a team like Nebula keep this sort of a strategy up and still make it into the main week, right? Because I think they've pulled away about an average of 12 points so far. That's not going to be enough to find the qualifier into the main week. But of course, the game number 3 about to kick off. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this time we head on into Solara. Those slide rails will bring on more chaos, and that's exactly what Crips and I want.
Yep. I will call myself the devil's advocate when I say that I love chaotic fights, but then we have another caster whose name literally resembles the devil himself. So, hey, who's the greater evil over here? Certainly not me.
Lucifer's the bane of all evil, okay? Sorry, Lucifer. iQOO, TG is going to have a little bit of heat on their side. Flame dropping by to say hello to them. Extreme X not too far away as well, but that's just a crazy split coming through from Extreme X. They're in 3 different compounds, man.
Yeah, I guess that's one way of minimizing risk, but at the same time, you don't have any trading potential. Look at Ush. He is basically juking his opponent so hard, but finally Bunny catches him on the way down, connects the headshot as Ush tries to drop down to the lower level. Kunal, he does get his pound of flesh. He gets troll, but 2 glue walls deployed, forces the jump shot against Bunny, only to get traded out again. So much effort to isolate those gunfights, but Kunal finally bites the dust, and Raiders United pick up their fallen teammates like nothing ever went wrong for them.
Yeah, it's a safe play from Vincent, and they do get that 1 revive back in here as well, but Flame do not survive this encounter. Not a single elimination they pick up, not a single placement point. Have they fizzled out already?
And most of the times, it's another Bangladeshi team creating problems for them. This time, it was a mix of both Total Gaming as well as Extreme X. But the moment Total Gaming get 1 squad wipe, the moment they realize that this team is done for, they dip. They do not stay any longer to give Extreme X even a chance to take shots at them.
Absolutely. Water just missing that slide rail. A little bit of a whoopsie, but not punished by anyone. TV Tower, GodLike stopping by to say, hey, you know, we heard some noise. Is anybody here? I think they're going to find that answer in a little bit. Raiders United! Spotted out there. And a troll right beside the players on the side of GodLike. Playing scout will be punished. And here comes that Riptide Rhythm. Running away is Jack. Buddy's on that ground floor. He's going to be fouled as well. Nancy sprayed down by Bunny with that perfect rotation, perfect timing. Jack with a sliver of health. iQOO going for the pickup. MP40 in his hands. Marco doesn't have the HP to peek over the glue wall, but he still does so. Archie has 50 in the hands of Jack, but no grenade sent their way.
Oh, they need to hurry up and wrap this fight quickly because no rules are inbound. Jack does get the trade onto Marco, but Yogi will be able to get it back. So GodLike have all their players back up on their feet. As long as Marco can heal up quickly, they should be more than ready to welcome No Rules into this battle.
No Rules shouldn't be capable of taking down GodLike. They haven't really proven their mechanical skills here just yet. But Frenetic with the Fantastic shot, and that's the opener. The vending machine will give the advantage to GodLike to bring their buddies back in here, but iQOO now is on the run. They might just lose a couple of more players, GodLike, before they can find safest spot here to play recovery. iQOO turning things around. Frenetic spray down. Marco caught out. iQOO now down as well. GodLike will be removed from TV Tower.
GodLike removed from TV Tower, but not from the game. Nancy brings them right back in. Tonde Gamer, though, here they have fighting for their lives, and Eco Drain. They are forced to reposition, though. They take a little bit of a beating. Blue God takes such a nice shot to the head, but somehow survives just long enough to bring two of his teammates back to life.
Tonde Gamer calling out the lightning zone just so that nobody looks up as the squad pulls back the revivals. And Tonde Gaming might just be calling their revive players back into this spot so that they can have a round 2 up against total winners. Hunter up close and personal. Chibo M590 in hand after to get sprayed down by Supreme. The follow-up here is from Chibo. Prince right behind the containers. Can Chibo get to him in the nick of time? M519 time turner pulled out, but the Valiant Dash keeps him safe. And the rest of Tonde Gaming comes in for that backup.
Oh my goodness, look at that guy. So light on his feet, but so hard on the trigger. Forcing that battle against Tonde Nepal Esports and actually winning those individual duels. Reagan dashes right towards the vending machine. Instant res comes through. And now he's going to shoot back.
Supreme actually got the revive. Reagan was like, wait, what? Okay, never mind. Somebody else got the job done. At least he doesn't have to waste his coins. But the question is, does he get to keep his coins? He's about to get annihilated here. Total winners. Want this extra platoon sprayed away. Reagan is not going to make it out of there.
Poor guy. He was so distracted. That's like ADHD max, because you gotta keep your eyes on 3 opponents in front and res, and then somehow someone shoots you from the back. It's too much for him to handle.
ADHD max.
And it's forced ADHD. You don't even want to be that active. You just want a little bit of peace. Oh, nice reposition by Kunal. Gets one more knock. And he puts up the glue wall just in time to keep himself safe, but he can't drop down into safety. Manu gets the better of him.
Pulled out the glue wall, but just bumped down with that Valiant Dash. Brilliant play. Finding Leo as well. Straw Hats in a little bit of a tussle up against the plays of Hotshots. Tonde Gaming need to back away from Archway instantly. Here comes Raiders United. Early game, they are lethal. 2 games in a row, they've picked up so many elimination points, no placements, and I don't think they're bothered about it.
Yeah. They've always been the kind of team who say no booyah, no problem.
Yeah.
And that generally holds true for them until they get to the finals, but that's still like a week away. So let's focus on Total Gaming for now, because Shanky basically backtracks and bamboozles Tucson. Look at him just so beautifully jumping around that chrono shield. Oh no, it expires right as he thought he was safe. Instant pickup to Shanky. That is great, but Rusty now has his work cut out for him. He doesn't have any more backup over here, and there you go. As Rusty is looking towards Aztec, Shanky shoots him down. I'm sorry, Mafia shoots him down. And that is the end of the danger for Total Gaming for the time being. But there's another player over there. Extreme X, they've been spotted. Flicker alone in that pickup truck.
Can he get away? Flicker? Oh, what a beautiful run.
Oh, and he gets the rest.
He hits the triple revival. Legendary play from Flicker. Almost got sprayed down. I don't know how iQTG dropped the ball on that one. They could have shot him out of the car. They had 2 snipers on their side, but luck was just on Tuz's side, and Extreme X is right back in it.
He stares death in the face and says, "Not today." And the rest of his teammates are not even dropping anywhere close to him. I mean, iQOO Total Gaming are using their UAV and everything. They're trying to find out where the rest of these opponents are, but the UAV goes right over his head, and I think they've lost Flicker. At least Mafia has. Maybe Vota can find him.
And see, they toss out the Cryo Mine. Who's it going to look for, though? Travels all the way across and finds nobody. Revenant XSpark looking for the GodLike players. Okay, all right. GodLike was looking for Revenant XSpark with the Cryo Mine. No connection just means they've got one less utility to depend on. Sohan going in for the rush. Nancy right in front of him. But Sohan does not wait for the backup. Runs straight into his death, but Arsh will get that instant revenge.
GodLike Esports need to recover from this one.
Oh, what?
Kunal? He had no idea Marco was around the corner, but somehow Marco still loses more HP than him. Oh my god, Marco really dropped the ball on that one. But hey, At least Yogi can bring them all back. So GodLike Esports still going strong. That being said, though, now GodLike have more revives than eliminations, and that is a tiny bit concerning.
They've got 111 points so far. And we saw they pretty much got a majority of their points with the last 3 games of the day. So today is a much better day than yesterday for GodLike.
Certainly.
Yeah, if they can continue their run later on, there's of course a very big if. They're allowed to by the other squads. Yeah, Bunny unable to get away from those shots. The Mag 7 puts him down. Swaroop, what a beautiful run in there with the M590, finding Prince, dropping him instantly. Troll and Jack 7 will be given the task to bring the players right back in here, but they're running out of time. This circle is getting tighter by the second.
There was a bit of an oopsie from Nebula Esports over there. Patlu falling to his own teammates' flash freeze. But no harm, no foul. They can pick their players right back up as if nothing had happened. They thought nobody saw it, but we did. We noticed.
We definitely did. Revenant XSpark outside the circle. 7 eliminations for Revenant. Not too bad at all of a run. They're now at the very top of the leaderboard, and Flame did them a big favor by exiting the lobby super early. So nobody's going to be tickling them for the challenge on the #1 spot, of course, unless Hotshot somehow finds a miraculous play here for themselves.
Seems like Revenant XSpark don't have much competition for the time being, so they can take any position that they want right now. Hit list also not activated, so I think they just want to get all their loot secured, re-clear their backlines, and just completely ensure that nobody can surprise them. Meanwhile, no rules. While they're safe here in Riders Club, they do want to make sure no team gets too close to them, so they're going to take pot shots at GodLike Esports just to keep them at bay. Oh my god, that circle is dangerous. It shifts north, and it shifts so hard. There's barely any cover. There's just a tiny amount of space in Riders Club left, and nothing else apart from that.
A scantily clad circle. This is not a good play at all for the teams who are making their way into this next zone late. Tonde Gamer is going to be furious as their players get sprayed down to the ground, one after the other. And iQTG just piling on the pressure onto them. But here comes Nebula. That is a revival, it's not a rotation.
And they land without too many problems. Nobody shoots them down mid-air, so yeah.
But that didn't work out too well for Swaroop. He looked to find a safe little quiet spot, but he's going to be found by 2 teams who are hot in the battle, looking for each other. Shock takes Swaroop out of the equation. Straw Hats in the battle up against Nebula now, who are trying to get to a safer spot. Nebula, can they make it through? They have avoided the engagements with Straw Hats already, and Tonde Gamer distracting Straw Hats. Nebula somehow still surviving.
Nebula Esports, even though they're caught in between all these monsters, they're just biding their time. Total Gaming now taking a bit of a step back. They want to assess all their options before they make their move inside. Patrol is going to force the issue. Gets a knock. No confirmation, but he's bought just enough time for Prince and Jack to close in the distance. Prince tries to get up on top. Troll still from behind, providing cover. Takes down Aztec. Mafia shoots down. That Shanky knock is very, very good. Somehow Raiders United dropped the ball. They thought that they were the hunters, but Total Gaming flipped the script. They turned Raiders United into the prey.
I do not blame Raiders United. I would have gone in for that rush as well. But unfortunately, that chaos was not one that Raiders United expected behind the boulder, falling into a tight pit of glue walls, and they all got capped. Phenomenal battle. Raiders United just unlucky, but the squad still survives through one final survivor, and he's still trolling people around out there on the battlefield with the M24.
Yeah, even though he's lost all of his teammates, even though he's the last player standing, normally people would try to hide or maybe go for the revives, but Troll has absolutely no intention of doing that. He continues to shoot at Total Gaming, hoping that he can at least confirm one of those knocks into an elimination. And this is a previous fight that Total Gaming were engaged in, not the fight that they were just in. You know, they destroyed Raiders United, or at least most of them, in this battle. But now Revenant XSpark, even though they were uncontested, are now facing the brunt of no rules, who have absolutely no mercy. Troll will be eliminated, but he goes down to the zone, I guess, so nobody gets the points for eliminating him.
What?
And no rules. They clash against Revenant XSpark, but they end up getting eliminated by GodLike. That is a heavy miscalculation from No Rules.
Yeah, talk about a little bit of luck on the side of Revenant XSpark. Vincent is holding on for his dear life here with the VSK. Needs to find a sneaky way to bring back the rest of his team members somehow, or make his way into the next circle, which is looking like it would be absolutely impossible. It's going to be an open ground run here. Marco approaching Vincent. Timely escape. It's not going to drop just yet, but the Riptide Rhythm breaking down his defenses. Winston, does he fall now in the car?
Oh my
the
God.
is getting him to safer haven. Spark's not going to be able to catch him out as well, and Vincent's out of there.
Yeah, I don't think Spark can even afford to take shots. Him and Patlu are so far away from each other, they cannot take those 1v1 duels. Meanwhile, Hotshots is all huddled up inside that tiny haystack place. And this actually gives Vincent some time to reposition, but he finds Spark. He doesn't know the Spark is alone. If he knew that that's a solo player, he probably would have forced that fight, but right now he's just going for the vending machine, and he actually makes it. He's only got enough money for one res, but in this kind of a situation, that could make all the difference in the world.
Absolutely. As the revive player gets sprayed out from the air. Shanky taken out, iQTG, that's the end of them. Revenant XSpark loses Vincent as well. iQTG out so early from this lobby. Nebula as well, about to check out. Hotshots fighting GodLike. So many battles around the battlefield. Hotshots have got the numbers advantage. They can take this rush here. Ice grenades all laid out. Marco sprayed down as well. iQOO does not have enough HP. And here comes Hotshots with the rush valiant dash. And they catch the players of GodLike a tad bit unfocused in that fight, and they annihilate them, taking out in fourth.
Yeah, even Revenant XSpark fall in the process. Now, Straw Hats, they've been granted a 4v4 battle against Extreme X. It's gonna be a while before Hotshot Esports will get out of their way to take these people down. Because Hotshots, they will take this opportunity to get to the center of the zone and position themselves for success. No matter who comes out on top, whether it's Straw Hats or whether it's Extreme X, Hotshots have the highest chance of winning the Booyah in this game.
A good communication from the side of Straw Hats, just focusing the play on the circle here. But they are the ones who will be at the biggest advantage, and therefore they are the focus of the other teams. Extreme X and Hotshots now taking shots at the players on the side of Straw Hats. And Straw Hats just needs to slow their pace down here. They do have an advantage with the circle, so they don't really need to make any mistakes out in the open. They do have some cover against the players of Extreme X. Leo's gonna get tagged up. Here comes that glue ball melter just towards the back of Extreme X. Oh, this is a preemptive strike here from the side of Straw Hats, just making sure those extra glue balls do not stand on the side of Extreme X for so long.
Yeah, but look at Extreme X, they're actually not moving just yet. Straw Hats decide to take the first mover's advantage, and they're trying to outposition Hotshots. Lovely nade by Neil. Takes down Sergeant. Leo also was just revived, so he can't shoot back just yet. He needs to heal. And as of now, Hotshots are caught. They're trying to figure out whether they should shoot back first or reposition first, because whatever advantage that Hotshots held has been taken away from them as Straw Hats take the circle now. And even though Extrov goes down, I think he can be picked back up very easily.
Oh, Sejan. The electrotherapy, but actions with the valiant dash, going towards the back, knocking down Sejan with the help of who? Straw Hats interfering in that fight, and Extreme X are the biggest losers of that engagement. They'll back away. Anna's left behind here for the side of Hotshots. Flicker finds Leo as he tries to rotate away from the squads, and Straw Hats will continue to take advantage of this chaos with that high ground advantage.
Rusty, he has bigger fish to fry, but he doesn't care. He just shoots at everybody that moves. He's not focused on reviving at all. Shocked has to let Who stay over there. Rusty gets the confirmation onto that as well, and they're trying to corner Rusty down. They're trying to pin him, but they're just simply not able to find him in any spot. There you go. They finally find him in the open. No more glue walls available for him. And now it's a proper 2v2. Hotshots have been given the opportunity to reset and get full health before they get into this fight. Shocked and Neil looking for the first opening. The Nero plushie forces actions out of that corner. Does he walk right into their crosshairs? This could be very precarious, AJ.
Yeah, Action's just playing distraction here. Shock does get tagged. But that boosted up glue wall, thanks to the team boosters, will keep him safe for the time being. Now Action's taking that high ground. Good glue wall pulled out. Nil's not going to get tagged up just yet. The other player from the side of Hotshots is not within our view. I wonder what sort of an angle he's holding on to because actions. Valiant dashes out of that one. Almost got out. But it's a shot from the house. The play is perfect. Hotshots overwhelming Straw Hats. Just making sure their backup player with the VSK is in the perfect place, but Shock saves the lives of Straw Hats with that shot. M1887, can he keep the numbers advantage? Answers no, does not pick up his buddy. Anas takes him out. It's now the shotgun versus the VSK, and the Valiant Dash breaks down the defenses, but Shock still holding on. Anas has got one final chance here. And the VSK still not finding the finisher. Shock will have the advantage for that final shot.
Shocked is just trying to juke his opponent. He's trying to break Anas's ankles, and Anas has lost so much of his HP just trying to outmaneuver Shocked. Shocked basically has full health now. Anas has been given the opportunity to repair his armor, but Shocked is gonna make sure that he takes the superior position on top of it. No more nades left, otherwise he would have tossed a hole on Mara towards Anas. But in this 1v1, it's Pakistan versus Bangladesh. Straw Hats versus Hotshots. Straw Hats looking for their second booyah. Hotshots looking to establish their supremacy. We've praised action so much, but now it's time for Anas to show why his praises also should be sung on for the rest of eternity. The Valiant Dash comes through, and Shock lands that headshot. Straw Hats get yet another booyah.
Very smart play from Shock and smart utilization of those glue walls. He only had 3 glue walls left, and he knew he could not waste any more. Anas, on the other hand, did not think that through. He had the Moss, he had to act fast, but he was not getting the shots off of the VSK. He tried to put some distance between himself as well as Shock, but what was unfortunate was he could not play that open circle. He had no glue walls. He had to take that final fight. No Moss to save his skin as well, to find the spot behind the boulder. And Shock with that Valiant Dash. And of course, he was buying so much of time for himself, not just to heal up, to wait for that active skill to be refreshed as well. It was on cooldown after the Valiant Dash was initially used, and Shock outthought his opponent in that battle, and Straw Hats picks up their second booyah here within 3 games.
Yeah, and that's such a massive mental warfare. It's not just about who's got the better aim. It's not just about who's got faster fingers. You need to make such difficult decisions because I was concerned when Straw Hats, even though they had the opportunity, did not go for the revive. Anas went in and finished that last player off so that he could force that 1v1. And that must have been a very difficult call to take. So you gotta make sure that you're managing your resources. You gotta keep an eye on how many utilities you've got left, how many nades and how many glue balls you've had. What's the cooldown? There's way too many variables to calculate while going into this 1v1.
Look at this.
And that's what makes this such a difficult one.
And smart play from Shock because he uses that Valiant Dash, breaks down the final 2 glue walls, but he still had 1 extra to play around with if in case his M1887 fails him in that move, but it did not in that sequence because his opponent had no defense to play around with whatsoever. And down towards the very end, the VSK CQC just not as sharp on his opponent's side, and obviously Straw Hats more than happy to rip this one away. And this is exactly what we wanted out of them, right? To climb the leaderboard in a confident way, because yesterday they just didn't pick up enough points. But today they're proving that they are playing for main week, and they are definitely well deserving of a spot there. But Hotshots keeping up with them, 13 eliminations and that second spot.
It's always these 3 teams, AZ. It's always these 3 teams. Straw Hats, Hotshots, Extreme X. All of them have been having some phenomenal games today. And they've been consistently at the top across this half of the day. All 3 of them, phenomenal performance so far. I mean, I'm starting to regret saying that, hey, Straw Hats did not have much of a chance yesterday. They only got 60 points, yada, yada, yada. They've shut me up well. They've shut me up so well. 28 points. They consistently get 25 plus points. And my God, yeah, sure, they're not 30 bombers, but hey, this is just as good.
Now, I think you called them out right, and they, I think, called themselves out. They acknowledged that they did not have a great run yesterday, and I think just within 3 games, they've already brought themselves up to par with their performance yesterday over 6 maps. That's the step up, and that's exactly why we call some of these teams out, because we see the potential out of their plays. It's just some of those decision-making, probably not the perfect ones for each of those moments yesterday, but today it's a different story altogether. With 3 games to go, Shocked is shocking the world. 5 eliminations, 3,448 on the damage, 7 assists, and definitely with the Oscar, he made that play work for the squad. And there's a good reason why he did not force that pickup towards the very end. He had no Thiba. He had the J-Beams, Joseph, Nikita. He knew it would take too long to pick up his team member, and that would give the Booyah away too easily to the opponents. And he stepped it up. He bet on himself, and he cashed out.
Yeah, he was basically healing himself, repairing his armor in that last second. So, you're right. He basically bet on himself. And it takes nerves of steel to force that 1v1. So, yeah, I'm glad that he can live up to the pressure and he can step up when the moment calls to him.
And Hotshots, I mean, 3 games in a row, we've seen them, pick up very decent points, and in the previous matchup as well, right? But we'll come back to them in a bit. Cassie, Oscar, Moss, Nero shows us that they want to play a very disruptive sort of an attack onto their opponents, and I'm absolutely in love with what they're doing out there, because it's not just about the ideation, but it's also the execution. But losing Who too early in this fight is turning out to be a big challenge that Straw Hats are not able to keep up with, because if Shock did not pull off this perfect sequence of decision-making in that final battle, obviously Hotshots would have walked away with that Booyah already. So they need to figure out some way to either keep Who on the battlefield alive a little bit longer, or one of the others need to act as a backup support, because Straw Hats needs the extra survivability out there. But apart from that, the rest of the players doing fairly fine in this game, especially with the damage.
Yeah, everybody stepped up when it comes to damage, but you are right. Who needs to stay alive if he wants to keep the rest of his team alive? Generally, the people that end up surviving the most are Extrov and Shocked somehow. I'm actually shocked that Shocked actually stays alive, because he's supposed to be the rusher. He's supposed to be the spearhead. So he technically takes the most risk, but him and Extrov end up surviving way more than anyone else. So maybe a little switcheroo is in place over here. Maybe it could help Straw Hats even more. But as of now, they're doing really well. Let's take a look at the circle analysis, and you will see how Straw Hats were basically all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely, man. On a split drop at Aquarium and Delta Isle, almost got capped by Revenant XSpark, but it was very impressive how they just very smoothly moved out of the compound. They ended up chasing Hotshots for quite a little bit. So the final circle was literally a rematch between Straw Hats as well as Hotshots, and a lot of stuff happened to Hotshots right after that, right? I do pity them because they didn't really have a great recovery run. They kept getting caught out by GodLike, even the players of No Rules kind of caught up with them at a certain point. But Straw Hats, on the other hand, very early entry into Riders Club, and they kept that defensive spot for a long time, not needing to deal with all of the other players.
Oof. Look at that. I mean, you had Hotshots who had the advantage, and then Straw Hats raced them to the circle. And they don't just play on the edge of the circle, they form that perimeter, which makes sure that nobody else can enter. Of course, that 1v1, it was nail-biting. Both Anas and Shocked must have been trembling. Their fingers must have been shaking in that 1v1. And in that situation, the people that have more experience are generally supposed to come out on top. I really thought that Anas would have an advantage going into that situation, because let's be honest, Hotshots have way more tournaments under their belt as compared to Straw Hats. But Straw Hats are just on fire today. Nothing seems to be able to stop them.
No, I mean, I think everybody's stepping up, right? Whoever, there's a couple of mistakes out there from some of these squads, but the recovery is just brilliant out of them. And Straw Hats just proving that, yes, yesterday was a run that even to them was unacceptable, and they are trying to prove themselves well here. The consistency is mind-blowing. We've talked about how many of the South Asian teams are not able to remain consistent with their games, and this is something that not just Straw Hats, many of the squads are proving out there that they can get the job done. Raiders United, though, I've got a big problem with this squad, Crips, because I think they are really good with the mechanical skills. They are able to find a lot of these eliminations. I need them to start finding those final circles as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, they have always struggled with the final circles, and this is when they had Kunal in the roster. And Kunal is a bit of a big brain IGL, but now that Kunal has gone over towards Revenant XSpark, you start to see how Revenant XSpark is kind of benefiting from that. I mean, the jury's still out whether Kunal was the better IGL or X-Divine, but I guess that's a debate I will leave for the comment section. For now, Raiders United, they've always been that team that struggles a little bit, but hey... Oh, my bad. It wasn't Kunal, actually, who left that team and went away. But they've had a bit of a change, so they've always struggled to close out the games. That being said, though, I don't think it's the kind of team that will fix it very easily. most likely going to struggle with closing out the games and getting those booyahs. And up until now, the only thing that has been working for them are those elimination numbers. And it won't be a problem for them until they get into the finals.
It's a huge problem in my eyes because 3 games, and out of the 3 games, they pick a total of 7 placement points. How ridiculous is that? But it's not really putting them at the bottom of the leaderboard because the eliminations game is just ridiculous, bro. They've got 38 eliminations. They've got the most eliminations in the lobby so far in comparison to the other squads. Even Straw Hats don't have as much. But we're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen, and that's me and Crips signing off. But when we come back, it's going to be Arca and Lucifer. You guys have fun. We'll catch you all tomorrow.
Stories remain the same from day 1 to day 2. Well, the team tag might have changed, but the region is on a hot streak in this competition. That is Bangladesh. It was Flame on day 1. Right as now, it looks like Straw Hats. They have 2 booyahs, and compared to the performance, 60 points yesterday and already 65 in 3 games. Welcome back to Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 Summer. My name is Lusu. With me on the desk is Arca, and we are here to bring you the next set of 3 games, especially for teams on the other end, because their 12 games are about to end. I think there was a little bit of technical hitch. We did see Urka talk, but yeah, he was telling that we have to wait and watch what happens, because towards the end yesterday, even though Flame Esports were at the top with around 100 plus points, they did not manage to have a completely compelling, strong game towards the last one, because the other teams had figured it out. And now Straw Hats, can they replicate something similar, is what we are looking at in the next 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm also interested to see how teams will react, going forward, because it all comes down to those strategies being read. 3 matches are done, 3 more to go, and I somewhere feel like teams will look forward to somehow make a proper comeback and make sure that they have more points on the table. And let me remind you yet again, this is the last 3 games being played by Group B.
Group B, while some of the teams have picked up pace in a big manner, let's take a look as we are heading towards the next game. That's going to be Bermuda. And finally, I feel like now, Arka, Group C will start functioning, because they are now used to how Group B are playing. Yes, they did see them yesterday, but once they jump into the game itself is how they feel what's going to be happening. But with that, with Bermuda in front of us, preferred drop spots, and we did see from the first 3 games, and even Crips mentioned that these preferred drop spots are just hawks at this point. None of them are going in for so many clashes. Again, Hotshot as well as GodLike did not happen last time on peak. GodLike was still there. They suffered a couple of casualties. This time there's iQOO Total Gaming plus Raiders United.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the cluster we speak about, right? We have always been deceived by this cluster. We expect a lot of entertainment from the beginning, and we are able to see that teams tend to shy away from fights, especially in the previous Asia Invitational. We have seen this happen. And hopefully, this time around, I see the teams dare to go take those fights. We'll be able to pick up some early eliminations, because they are badly in need of it. When we look at teams from Bangladesh who are dominating, converting those 4v4s, I expect the Indian teams and the Pakistan teams to also step it up to make sure they go forward.
And storyline running a little bit similar when you mentioned about the Indian teams is their performance. Yesterday, they won GodLike and Nebula. Nebula somehow picked up a booyah around game number 3, which everybody got excited. And then GodLike in the next game itself, game number 4. But today, it's been a rather back and forth. In game number 2, they were close to that booyah. Unfortunately, missed that opportunity. Revenant XSpark got it. So today's day, it has been Revenant XSpark. Somewhere, yesterday's downfalls has been today's pick-up race with them. As GodLike's performance, a little here and there. But in a wholesome picture, we did kind of see the overall standings a little dicey at this point. Like when we saw the South Asia play-ins last time in spring, right? We had an idea which set of top 8 teams will make it through. This time, it's a little difficult compared to only the 1, 2, 3 that we can talk about. But with that, let's see the 1, 2, 3 in terms of the cast of predictions that we have, Arka, where we have tended to. Because the Bangladeshi teams are performing, I feel like Extreme X, as I mentioned, and you also have them. They are another Bangladeshi team, and finally, they will have their chance in game number 4 after understanding the lobby. Along with them, I have iQOO Total Gaming, but with that is Hotshot Esports. One squad I want to see get a booyah. They've always been close, yesterday and today as well, but still no booyah. But again, no problem yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, I would lean towards the 2 teams of Group B, because it's almost to the end of the games they've been playing. I feel like they're going to play as if they've got nothing to lose, especially with the kind of firepower these 2 teams carry, Total Gaming and Nebula. I would rather say EXA and Nebula. They look forward for some early fights, whereas Total Gaming, the only reason I've gone with this team from Group C is because they're trying to play it safe when required. And it's important for you to step away from a fight and come back strong, because that's the only way for you to make sure that you hold the top spot in the overall standing.
Now, how iQOO Total Gaming managed to make it is something that we have to wait and see. But hey, Group C, as you mentioned, they don't have to be worried about a lot, because they have another set of 6 games they'll play today. Not that they've concluded today's 6 games. 3 more to go for them, starting with our Bermuda right as of now. But Group B, very crucial. Some teams who have to yet pick up pace. Flame Esports, now do I call them that they've not done a lot today? Because today they just have 20 points. Yesterday they had 100 plus points going in for them. So maybe that situation where we could call that, hey, they've done enough yesterday. Today they're picking up points around 10 per game or less than that, and it's kind of pushing them up on the rung of the overall standings. But the other teams, Nebula, they started strong, then started having a downfall. GodLike eventually figured the rules and they found their points. Is that going to be enough? But on the other end, Hotshot, Revenant, and especially Straw Hats. I think today's spotlight from Group B is going to be on Straw Hats with the booyah that they've gotten heading to Bermuda. Can they find one more?
Oh, it's gonna be a hard ask because Revenant XSpark, who have got 144 points in total as of now, is looking forward to seal the deal, be consistent as the flight path on our screen, starting all the way from factory, ending towards the riverside, making sure it's a default map, dissecting the map into two equal halves, looking forward for some early skirmishes. As we already said, Mars Electric is now being held by a solo player from Flame.
Okay, we've hit a quick pause. We got a quick update on that. But yesterday when we were taking a look at this Bermuda itself, we had a team which picked up the Booyah. That was Bangla Unity. They're not going to be playing today. They're going to be joining us in tomorrow's matches. That's going to be Group A. But even though the flight path was somewhere similar like this, the last circle Arka went all the way to Shipyard. Something that we generally don't see. And Bangla Unity, because of how their position was being held, it looked good for them and they grabbed that Booyah. Something smart that we were talking about. Just like how Hotshot, they are close to the Booyah but they're unable to seal that deal. Right now, just going back to that final fight between Shocked as well as Anas, Shocked was playing smart. Knowing that he will get his dash back up once its cooldown is done, he decided, hey, let Anas move, let him run away, let him create the distance, and once the dash is ready, I'm going to jump right in. And even AJ mentioned and pointed that out. So very well strategized from the side of Straw Hats. I want to figure out how Hotshot maybe make that mark work. We've hit a quick pause. We will give you an update. We might be getting back into the game very soon. Not much to be worried about. But Group B, some of the other teams who I feel like Arka are trying to figure things but still not able to, compared to what was happening, is today's Nebula. They've only managed to grab 34 points. Is that going to be enough? Where is the cutoff going to be?
I think today's Nebula and yesterday's GodLike are in the same boat altogether. It's just that, you know, both of them are trying to catch their fray. At times we see them doing exceptionally well in fights and suddenly they're unable to understand the lobby. Nonetheless, we have seen these teams do a proper comeback, shown to us that they are capable of lifting championships for themselves. We'll be looking forward to what they can do. And let me tell you this, they're just 20 points shy from being on the top of the table. We have got Straw Hats, Revenant XSpark who are fighting for the top spot. We have got Hotshots especially, who are very close to that 145 marker. So I still feel like there's a good chance if they be consistent enough, try to get 15 points each. I think everybody from Group B will have a minimum of 140 points.
Now, whether they get closer to it today itself by the end of game number 6, or they just wish and pray that tomorrow when the matchup happens and resumes with Group A, that they don't get pushed out. Bringing that topic in, I want to ask you, Arka, where do you think this cutoff will stand at? Because this is top 8, not the top 12 that we're going to see in the main event's end.
It's a tougher question, but I feel like it's going to stand somewhere between 145 to 147. Even though I want to lean towards 142, I still feel like teams from Group B have still got 20 points in their shoulder. And that's the upcoming 3 games. I can expect at least 20 points coming in from GodLike, which puts them to 141 or 42 points. So giving a bit of a buffer that Group A and C is going to have later tomorrow, I feel like 145 to 147 is the amount of points you need to have to cross over into the next round.
We've had a quick tech pause. As you can see, we will start the next game very soon, but I think I kind of lean in that direction what you're mentioning, Arka. 145 to 150. Yes, because this is the top 8. If it was maybe the top 10 or top 12 that we would have seen, there could have been an opportunity for somebody else to also squeeze in and maybe the cutoff going a tad bit down. But today, not going to be the case. We already see, as you mentioned, right, Revenant XSpark, Hotshot, who are already 140 plus. They are from Group B. They're trying to hit that mark and more. Now, 3 more games to go for them. Flame Esports, we spoke about them. 112 some points yesterday that they managed to grab. 20 points today. They're sitting at 132. Closer to that 140 again. But the biggest of all surprises, yes, has been Straw Hats. Imagine, Arka, 60 points. And now they're sitting at 120 in total. This is game number 3. This is not the day being done. So I think Straw Hats, and in general, this South Asia play-ins clearly can be written in the name of the Bangladeshi teams. None of them have disappointed for us so far. Everybody's been hitting their mark and we are loving to see that action. If this continues, as we said, right, last time itself in spring, they were trying to brew themselves and crown a championship in their name. They did try to get closer. But this time it seems like they're here for it. They've decided that nobody else will take it. Doesn't matter if we have the Southeast Asian teams against us.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I feel like Bangladeshi teams, they need to hold on to their horses because they're giving away most of their strategy. They're giving their 100%, I agree. But again, if you open yourself so much in the upcoming games or latter stages of this tournament, I believe like your strategy is going to be read very well. And I believe that Bangladeshi teams kind of fumbled because of this very reason in the previous spring season as well. So hoping to see them make a proper comeback, able to understand that they will be able to re-strategize according to what's the need of the hour. I feel like they will be able to do well. But again, I'm still feel like the Indian teams are going to make a proper comeback in the upcoming games because Indian teams are the teams who are well known for cloaking themselves, waiting for an opportunity, and when the iron is hot, they strike the hardest.
Like a true mastermind you spoke there, Arka.
Yeah.
I really like it. And I think this is something that we've always also spoken about teams in general. That yes, you should go all out from the very start, but you should also have a lot more in your playbook. If you don't do that, then an opportunity opens up in general while you would have been completely exhausted and everybody would have known your stats. And I think so far could be the case with the Bangladeshi teams, but also going in that direction when we are talking about a region that has kind of now picked up hot shots, right? That is Pakistan. They came for the very first time in the last season in spring, and now they're here for summer, and Hotshot have shown us a complete different picture. This is not what we saw. And as we mentioned yesterday, me and Crips were also having the same discussion. Actions and Anas, somewhere they both have kind of picked up. In spring season, it was just Actions doing his heavy lifting, but Anas has joined that fray, and I hope the other two also join, and very soon Abuya maybe come striking towards the side of Hotshot Esports. But with them, I think we are also expecting, like the Bangladeshi squads picking up, a more side of action from the Pakistani squads as well. Not something that we have been anticipating or not getting yet so far in FFMAI 2026 summer. Mentioned about the one more region I want to talk about is going to be Nepal. I think every time that we start off in FFMAI, we always have an eye for the Nepal teams first, because they come out as a sporadic approach in terms of their firepower, and they're capable. We remember in spring, Tonde Nepal Esports, all of a sudden, when nobody expected, ended up almost getting a 30-pointer total points game, and everybody's like, oh wait, this is where now they're going to start off. But instantly they have off situation or a switch turned off. I don't know what that block is for them, and that ends up affecting the entire and overall performance. So I'm looking forward to because one reason that we've already spoken about Nepal, we've already spoken about Pakistan, we've talked about Bangladesh, Nepal. Every time that we think that somebody will qualify, it ends up being that the team from the main event who's invited, right, they manage to make it. None from the South Asia plains make it through. So I hope this time there is going to be a change in difference from their region.
I mean, by the looks of it, it seems like they've got a little bit of a control of all these games. They've got 20 in the last 3 games played. So I strongly feel like since they're still reading the lobby, they're still trying to understand how to make a proper comeback or probably come up with a strategy on day 2, they've still got 3 more games to read. And all they have to do is reach up to 50 or 60 points by the end of the day, because that's the average we're able to see that the other teams have put up on a single day. And then it all comes down to the hard work they'll be able to put off in day number 2. But again, as I say, you need to reap benefits of what you sow in day 1, and hopefully they do not, do something wrong in day 1 itself.
Tonde Nepal Esports, this is their day 1 as they've started from Group C of their debutant matches, and we are expecting that maybe they also do, along with, as you rightfully said, Arka, take the advantage of day 1. Yes, you are an unknown. The opponents are also an unknown. You're trying to get the best of it. Take as many points as possible. Whether it's going to be in placement where you play for survival, or it is going to be elimination heavy. Choose one of the sides. Go all out and get those points acquired, so that when you move to day 2, you're a lot more in science. You know what's going right for you. And with that, we are going to resume. All the pauses put to side. We get back to Bermuda.
The default map where everybody knows the nooks and crannies of this map. This is where teams will have to showcase their true powers. The flight path, again, starting off from factory towards the riverside. Not that much of a change if you ask me. But again, Flame, we see that one of the player going towards that Mars Electric region. A split comes in from their side. A 1v3 split towards the clock tower, intending to get some early skirmishes. But sadly, nobody's close to them. As GodLike make peak their home.
They always do it, and this time as well. But we did see 3 more squads trying to trouble them out of peak, but this time it doesn't seem to be the case. iQOO Total Gaming also moving the other direction. Rimnam Village was also supposed to be a place where teams would have clashed it out. As of now, nothing happening. Same goes for Straw Hats, but they're a little bit close here at Katulistiva. That is going to be none other than Extreme X. But before we could talk about that, Raiders United, they've found a target in front of them. That's going to be No Rules. And it seems like No Rules, they've not had a great start yet while we were talking about the other teams. On the other end, Extreme X, they also help out in between. And it seems like No Rules are now just suffering one after another. Bunny gets taken down. Jack has to be quick on it. He does the damage, but it's just going to be a trade. Mahir also jumps in, and there seems to be a little bit of recoup coming in from No Rules. And now Prince, the IGL, will all be left alone on his lonesome.
Oh, needs to be careful, but on the other side, Total Gaming using that time turner to the fullest potential, but Hotshot says we are the strongest out here. The new addition is going to be backstabbed by Swaroop as Nebula comes in over here yet again to showcase why they're known as the third-party king. Hotshot's on the other side, very clever, trying to hold that vending machine for now. Is now trying to push against the opponents. Nebula going for a split. Aztec's still alive, trying to run away from this position. Sajid gets closer to Swaroop, but gets punished for it. And now from a distance, it's got to be Action who will have to make sure that it brings in a bit of a firepower.
And it works out. Initially, the COD battle with the Bison did not do the damage, but eventually Hotshots were able to recover it. And with the MP40, that was a chance that Hotshots will get a total of 3 eliminations. But on the other end, No Rules. It seems like No Mercy is also their motto for this game. They spot another squad who make their way towards Bhima Shakti Strip, and they instantly put them down. We all thought that maybe it should be Katulistiva where the fight will break down, but No Rules. It seems once they've gotten a whiff of where eliminations are, they're going ahead and going in for a pick. GodLike, it seems like they did not get the best loot, even though they were all alone at peak. Maybe they felt a little bit lonely, tried to traverse out, and they're all split in various different directions. Thankfully, was able to hold his own. Yogi as well with his dual revolver will get a pick on Flicker. But GodLike in all different directions. Marco on a 1v1. He also lands with his mini Uzi. And Marco will get a quick hit and also will try to bring back his teammate now that he has the coins, and Nancy's back up. So GodLike, even though they make the split approach, they make it work and get a total of 4 at the start.
I hope they're prepared, because I can see Revenant XSpark is now trying to come into the Bhima Shakti Strip vicinity. But again, GodLike, a very phenomenal gameplay coming in from their side, because every single player who took off a 1v1 was able to pull it off perfectly. For now, Nancy comes down from the air. Luckily, he's got a lot of crates around him from where he can loot. Let's not forget that Revenant XSpark, these wolves are known for their prowl. They look forward to strike when the iron is hot. At a distance, we see that Straw Hats, they're also looking for some action. And they've got EXE who's already run away from this vicinity.
Extreme X, there's another opportunity. While they started off a battle with No Rules, we thought they're the ones going to get eliminations. What just happened here? Wait, what? No Rules seems like they found the likes of GodLike. Picked them off, put them down, and now Peak has become a summit for No Rules and not GodLike. Unfortunate, Marco, while he had the control of the compound, now is all alone, has to find a different vending machine. I didn't even pay attention to how many coins he had. Not sure if they'll be able to get back on the revive. But on the other end, the fight that we were already talking about, Extreme X and Straw Hats. Extra was in between multiple players of Extreme X, but I don't know how. Using the launch pad, he made his way out. That was sneaky. And unfortunately, Extreme X now will lose an opportunity of finding eliminations. And Straw Hats, they decide to pick that as an advantage and put down Flicker.
Straw Hats need to be careful, because Hotshots on the other side are very hot on their feet. And they really know how to take a 4v4. They've been the strongest when it comes to those close range battles. They've got 91 eliminations so far, whereas Straw Hats have got 78. Shows the conversion rate is against the side of Straw Hats. Neil running out in the open. Location compromised. Shots have been taken, but still survive for a bit more. Straw very down on his knees, and the confirmation follows up quickly.
Actions. Wants an opportunity. Look at him. This is the initial start, so he knows the damage is not going to be that great, and he was also being healed by the electrotherapy. But on the other end, Straw Hats, Nil, is stuck between two of the players. So this is not going to be a wise decision. He was only able to chip off on Sajid, and then it seems like somebody from afar, and that's going to be who? And the same question will be asked by Hotshots as well, as they've lost their players. Sajid and Leo. Leo will be brought back to life, but for how long? Bolt make a call, Dash coming in, Leo trying to survive, but finally Sajid, with a shots being dropped, he tries to find an opening, but then Revenant XSpark wins and he spots both the ends. Hotshots, Straw Hats, both out of the game. Oh wait, no. Straw Hats is still there. Somehow they managed to survive. Who's back into action? Shocked is here. And Extra as well. So it did work out. Straw Hats, they moved away in the direction, and it's only Hotshots who get lost.
Oh, they need to be careful. Because Neil, the direction he's running right now, is heading towards GodLike. And that's not a good place to be. Revenant XSpark on the other side, since they're third party in the fight, they've got enough number of eliminations. Look at what happens on the other side. Yogi puts down 2 players of EXE and 1 player from that of Hotshots. Or rather, I would say Straw Hats. Now still they breathe with 3 men standing.
GodLike on the other end, they did manage to get all their players back up. Nil, unfortunate. While he did bring back his teammates, we did see even on the feed that he was able to revive his teammate. Now he gets caught all alone near Plantation. But GodLike, they will be happy because they have all their 4 players standing. 7 eliminations in total. The start, while they did get 4, after that they suffered heavy losses. But on the other end, Manu, he's hiding. I'm not sure if GodLike will have a hint of it or have any abilities to kind of figure his position out. iQOO did drop down into the water body. If there was maybe a crossover bridge type position, iQOO would have tried to cross and maybe he would have spotted Manu. But for the time being, at least that hide and seek coming in from No Rules, last player Manu, will be enough. Let's take a look at what happened, how they got their 3 eliminations, and it seems like it was birds being picked out from the sky by Yogi. And that is where they pushed from 4 to 7 in total eliminations, and a great one to GodLike's recovery.
For the Indian teams out there, right, speak about Vincent, Yogi, KD God, all the snipers are able to pull off some really good action out there. And that means the opponents need to be careful, and let's not forget Swaroop as well. Look at him. He picks one off, but for now, Harsh is trying to go on a hunt as Rusty is trying to buy as much time as possible, is now trying to run away, but Vincent says, my sniper is enough to put it down, and eventually we'll be getting that confirmation as well. With this, I believe, Tucson will be the last man standing. Nope, he revives all his teammates, but he's still on a hunt.
Yeah. That's what's been happening constantly. Extreme X, they think that they will be able to revive and have a stronghold and once more to Saint without even being able to answer back, even able to find a knock. He's going to be put to rest. But all of this action happening outside the zone. Yes, it's Jet circle number 2, so not much to be worried about, and that's the reason Revenant XSpark after yesterday's run today feel a lot more confident. Same cannot be said for Flame Esports, total winner. Now they have an opportunity. It's their debut day. We already spoke. Game number 3 is done. Game number 4 is where you start getting your points back. You have to figure a way that approach helps you in getting back on the standings, because even this is your day 1. While they've done their day 1 performance really well, got triple digit, it's time for total winner also to pick up pace. We already spoke about it. Hotshot from Pakistan are doing it. Total winner, this is their second round in FFMAI. Hopefully they as well do it.
For teams from Group B, right, they've always had a great advantage, if you ask me, because they played 2 days back-to-back. So they can carry forward that momentum or make a comeback if required. Whereas for teams like Group A and C, even though they can do a bit of a hard work or homework as they watch out for Group C being played or Group B being played, I still feel like, you know, that momentum is going to be stopped in one way or the other. I know that Group C also have a similar kind of an approach because they'll be playing 2 games straight, but I still feel like Group E will have a better chance.
The cricketer in you just spoke about this, and it kind of tells me that you like a lot more defending than chasing, because Group B, they don't have a target. They're the ones setting the target in the overall standings to qualify. And nicely put. On the other hand, I would be the man who would like to kind of chase. I have a target in front. I know how much I have to do. Because as you said, Now that contradicts what you did mention, right? You kind of keep some things in your playbook hidden and not give away all your strats, and accordingly I will plan once I have a target in front of me. So I'm using the best of both worlds as a decision to make. But yes, teams would not have that much time. As you could see, right, how quickly Hotshots got eliminated, Raiders United, iQOO Total Gaming. All of them that without having a chance to right now figure out what's best, and if they get eliminated, if they were from Group B like Hotshots is, and if they did not have points, they would have wanted to do a lot more. But for now, Hotshots do have point. Not much to be worried about on their end. However, the circle moving right in between Mill and Peak. As we can see, the extremities of Peak still keep in control. Vaughn being used, but nobody's information gained. On the other end, information, at least for the time being, no rules, they have it. Oh, about to ready for a shoot was Maher with his Groza. Did not take the shot because he knew they were not in enough distance. As one knock has been picked up, they couldn't close the distance and go in for a full team wipe.
The two extremes on our screen, GodLike, who tend to play inside the circle, who want to hold a compound, try to stop anybody trying to make it inside the circle, or rather try to maintain that distance from other fights, have information. And then we have got Revenant XSpark on the other side of the spectrum. They always tend to stick their back against the zone which is approaching, slowly make it inside the circle, make sure nobody backstabs them, and look forward for a fight. And they're well prepared to take those fights as well. So let's see which among these two teams tend to survive for the longest time possible, because this is where, for the players watching out there from home, those young lads, they can learn from different strategies and different approaches from the pros themselves.
East Pros, they're fighting for their chance on FFMAI's title, which has been always taken away by the Southeast Asian teams. This time, South Asian teams are looking good. Tonde Nepal Esports, unfortunate, they come under the trigger of Extreme X, and instantly, one after another, the whole squad gets wiped out. Unfortunate. Tonde Nepal Esports, we were just talking about them just before this game started, and again, they end up suffering a loss. Just 4 eliminations of the game, a total of 26 points.
Oh, look at Revenant XSpark still making sure they can make it inside the circle. EXE on the other side in a bit of a trouble, trying to revive there in the open. Could be a little bit problematic because the zone is also chipping away a lot of damage. Straw Hats on the other side. They come in close. Neil very low on HP. Eventually gets taken down by Flicker. And now EXE might make a comeback inside the circle. But are they being watched?
They might be. As you said, they're at the edge of the play zone. Straw Hats, while they've lost a lot, using Morse, trying to make a run. But I think with the position gained, Morse will not be of enough use for him to make a runaway, with already Extreme X having an eye on him. Even we ended up seeing the plushie being used, Try Your Mind. And if that is the case, it could be an end for Straw Hats. But Straw Hats, while they've made a move, the last man surviving, there is also Flame closing the distance. On the other end, Revenant XSpark, finally they decide that they want an entry inside the circle. But as soon as they entry there, there's the Bolt Maker called, and Total Winner, they decide they want to charge. Nebula was already holding a compound. All windows blocked, glue walled, and even an entrance now closed off. Revenant XSpark wanted to take an advantage, but now Total Winner completely shut off on this fight.
But look at who's playing all the cards out there. Glue walls being thrown from the left side of Nebula, making sure the windows stay open. And teams like, Total Winners who come in over here can take some fights. It's going to be Revenant XSpark again pulling the strings as they make it inside the circle. Total Winners need to be careful because Nebula, one of those teams who wait and watch and eventually come in to fight. But grenades have been tossed in and the reaping benefits out of it. It's going to be Revenant XSpark who will be picking up one in their name. And now Nebula are in deep troubles.
Big trouble. While they did block out on Total Winner on one end, they're still being challenged. Again open, nice launcher being used by Hunter, and now they'll instantly charge in Patlu, and Swaroop have to hold, but Swaroop, he's the last one standing. Quickly gets a revive, tries his bet, it doesn't work. Revenant XSpark, they help out in this. They grab 2 eliminations and Total Winner get 2, but Revenant XSpark instantly charge in Aflatoon. He was in charge of holding the outer extremities of the compound, but he's the first one who will get taken down by Revenant XSpark, and now the same position that Nebula had will be taken control over by Total Winner. But for how long? A nade is being tossed, Flash Freeze doing and chipping damage, Melters being used. Total Winner are not safe and sound, and for how long and what will they do? Sohan waiting for the opening, waiting for the opportunity. I think they're also waiting for the cooldowns on their character abilities to refresh, and as soon as that's done, all of them will try to charge in. On the other end, GodLike wanted to charge and take down Flame. They did try to do the damage, but have also in turn received damage. Confirmation on Taj. iQOO after getting revived wants to go in for a run, but he will be put to rest. The zone closing in, nothing much to be done. On the other end, Revenant XSpark, they are now on a streak to end total winners push. Hunter already down, but Sohan gets taken on. The rushers out, Vincent the sniper out. It's all up to Arsh now as Prince holds his own. Extreme X in this taken advantage and put Revenant XSpark in difficulty as well.
Oh, it's not gonna be easy. Revenant XSpark also gets taken down. It all comes down to the top 4 teams in this lobby. EXE, we've got 4 men standing, have a great advantage out here. All they have to do is maintain the topography under their control. Look at Nancy, what he's able to do. He's gonna pick up as many frags as possible. He sees another lone player trying to run away. Puts some shots against him, but Sajan is getting too close. He lands one, puts him down as well, and it all comes down to a 1v4.
No opportunity here for Prince as Extreme X dominated this game number 4, and this is what we counted on. Group C teams now have an understanding, but is there a change in the region that have shown us that this FFMAI 2026 summer is going to be theirs? No, they say another team from Bangladesh, Extreme X this time. So many booyahs going towards the teams from Bangladesh. This is unbelievable. We have had 4 games today, 6 games yesterday, 10 games in total, Arka, and we've had 6 games that have gone to the Bangladeshi teams, and what a run they've been having so far in the South Asia plains.
Oh, it's been phenomenal. It's been amazing for all the teams out there. But let's not forget that consistency has been the key for the Indian teams as well. We see yet again that Revenant XSpark did crumble down because of their strategy. They might have to come up with something new, because the more time they take to clear off the teams at the corners of the circle, the more delayed they make it inside the circle and they get targeted. Whereas total winners on the other side, who had so much of opportunity to make it inside the circle, still failed to dominate on what they had.
Unfortunate it was. I mean, Extreme X getting a chance like that, and I'm pretty sure they will not miss out on their opening, that clear control of the circle. GodLike could have had their own chance and an opportunity, but that fight and playing at the edge, losing players towards Flame Esports as well. And even if Flame Esports would have gotten a booyah here, it would be again a Bangladeshi team. So far, I think these lads have been having a run. I think studied well completely. But yes, a little bit of a question is, yes, they have to think about the exhaustion that they would have had when they jumped towards the main event. A little too early this discussion is happening, but their run is what we are kind of thinking about the future already. That's how wonderfully these guys are playing. And Extreme X, finally, the deficit of us not seeing the 30 total points today is going to be fulfilled by Extreme X. A total of 31 points, 19 eliminations, and a booyah to top it off. But total winner as well, we just spoke about it. The teams from Pakistan, they need to start showing up, and total winner, what a game to start things off on.
Absolutely. And let's not forget that teams like GodLike are also able to pick up some points. I'm kind of disappointed with Raiders United. I was expecting them to have a bombastic start out here, because they rely so much on elimination points. Like, I mean, this is the only game where I've seen them get placement points. Previous to this, they've only had elimination points in their name.
There's one thing that I was talking about yesterday also, Arka, and it seems to be the case today as well. The team names have changed. RNX was yesterday. You can see they have only 69 points at the very edge in terms of elimination and also qualifying, depending on just day 1 stats. But similar situation for Raiders United. They have 45 points. And I think likely and closely they will get towards that 10th position by the end of today. So it's going to be 9 and 10 between RNX and Raiders United. And Raiders United, as you said, young lads, RNX, young lads, they should have a chance. But unfortunately, they're taking too much time to read the lobby and to do different from what they actually do. They want to go and rush. You could clearly see in the start of it, right? Around that Bhima Sakti strip that we ended up seeing, no rules. A little bit of a knock they found, but they couldn't count and benefit out of it. They were instantly shut down, and once they were shut down, the whole squad, and it was left only to Prince. But we'll talk about them soon. But along with them, Tonde Nepal Esports only sitting at 26 points. not that great, even no rules, while all the other counterparts from that region have been performing in big manners. As you can see, on the first half, majority of the Bangladeshi teams are there. On the other end, it's only no rules here at the 17th spot. They've not yet found their complete run, because we also saw at one point one of their teammates were all alone and the entire squad got wiped out. We'll hope that maybe they make a change very soon, because now with 4 games done, overall standings in front of our screens, we all know which teams are doing really well. As you could see, Revenant, Hotshot, Flame, GodLike, Nebula are making a run. All the teams playing today. Adding on with Straw Hats' journey, they've made it to the top 6 at 138. So this will make a big push for the others to be going down out of the top 8. And if that happens, problem.
For the MVP of this game in the map of Bermuda, it's gotta be Flicker from EXE, who did everything right with that Skyla Mokomaro. This usual what we see for a sniper, but he's got a Susie for some extra money just in case required. Let's not forget that enhanced hammer on the AWM. All thanks to that, he was able to pick up as many eliminations as possible. And let's not forget that his initial knocks also meant a big number when it comes to his damage. 4,281 with 2 assists. Now I wonder what his teammates have contributed, because it seems like the heavy lifting is done by the solo lad himself.
Yeah, out of the 19 eliminations, 7 for Flicker. Brilliant job. I was missing him yesterday when the other Bangladeshi squads were performing, and today that Extreme X, they start their matches from Group C. I can see how well they are functioning. With him, as you can see, his teammates Sejan, Rusty as well as Tusin, having an Oscar, Morse and Cassie. And I think this season we are seeing a lot more Cassie coming into play, that teams are going in for that clear support role that they would need. Not too much aggression, but there is aggression which you cannot even predict. That's how teams are playing. And with the help of Casey, your electrotherapy coming through. On top of that, Olivia for healing, and Joseph making sure that while Tusin is trying to help his teammates out, he doesn't get disrupted, and Nikita always to keep firing with the weapon you have. And this is a really good footprint, if you would ask me, coming in from everybody from the whole squad, and everybody's contributed. While yes, Flicker has gone towards the North Star of 4,000, his teammates are not too far away. We can see 1,900, 2,000, 2,000 damage from the other 3.
Yeah, again, the one thing which I missed in their setup is going to be Thiva not being used for a quick revival. That shows that they were wanting to play at the center of the circle. They were not at all bothered about those corner fights, and that's one of the reasons why they were able to pick up eliminations at the very end. Nonetheless, you know, as you correctly pointed out, almost 50% of the damage being dealt from that of Flicker. His teammates have also contributed really well. 6 assists coming in from the side of Tucson shows that he was also one of those players trying to punch the lobby hard.
While we talk about the lobby itself, let's take a look at the circle analysis. Bhima Sakti strip, we spoke about this. This is where a lot of the battle started. GodLike also decided to make a jump, and once it got a little too heated, Extreme X decided to move complete northwest, and from there they met with Straw Hats, had a little bit of casualties, but Extreme X at all times had Rusty. As you can see, Rusty was always jumping from one vending machine to another, making sure that his teammates are always being survived. But after that, once they got pushed back to Graveyard, from there they move completely south. The amount of rotation that we can see both Extreme X and Straw Hats all over the place. No Rules did not do that. They tried to stick around in the same spot around that Bhima Sakti strip towards mill that they moved. They got eliminated, whereas Extreme X went every direction that was possible along with Straw Hats. But it looked like Straw Hats were trailing the same path of Extreme X, and that is the reason in this circle analysis that is Extreme X finding an opportunity to take down Straw Hats, and at circle number 4 they got taken down. And once Extreme X were able to take them out, in front of them the circle was completely empty. But moving towards our game number 5, that is going to be Nextera. Let's see if it's going to be Extreme X once again, because looking at the preferred drop spots, they're at Intellect Center, where Total Winner and Revenant XSpark might come down to clash.
Oh, I don't think so. It's got to be easy. That part of the map is where you would not want to place yourself. Total Gaming towards the Farmtopia region, I somewhere feel like they're going to extend themselves towards the museum. And let's not forget the Decca Square and the region right next to it is where some more of action is what we can expect. Grave Labs, museum, Turbine, these are the places where you would want to go for a survival game, but rather if you're looking for some early action, you would rather go towards the mud site region, quickly loot up and take either of the directions where you can map some third parties taking place.
You did map it out right. Mud site is a place left empty. Surprisingly so, that's not going to be the case when we actually see the game start off.
I hope so.
No
because,
way that mud site is empty.
We have always been, deceived by these players. They always show something in the beginning and they come out with something else overall. And I believe that, that is how you need to showcase yourself when you're playing in a lobby like this.
Now with that, let's see what we will be able to showcase in terms of our caster predictions. While we did get Extreme X towards our direction being right, let's see what we go in terms of picks. Me and you have GodLike and Tandem, but with that, we've changed. I've gone in for Nebula along with Straw Hats. Looking at what they did suffer right now, maybe try to stage a comeback, because now we are getting closer towards our Group B matches that will finally end. So I've gone all Group B teams. You have picked 2 Group B teams. That's going to be GodLike and Flame. Raiders United, and I kind of read your mind with this that you're hoping these lads make a comeback, make the biggest out of it.
Hey man, I don't want them to make a comeback. I just want them to survive. Imagine 38 finish points against 7 rank points itself shows that, this team is just looking for fights. They need to hold on to their horses. They just need to make sure that they choose good fights and bad fights. And later on, that's going to lead them for a booyah. And hopefully, we'll be able to see that Raider United will be able to do something similar. Again, 2 teams from Group B is going to be my biggest pick throughout the day, because I strongly feel that now Flame Esports would want to burn the whole lobby and pick up as many eliminations as possible.
Let's see who picks it up, as it is time for next setup. Game starts now here in FFMAI 2026 summer, especially for teams from Group B. They have to understand if they don't make a mark today, they will be out of the race for main event. That's what everybody is fighting for. 12 games is what everybody gets from their respective groups. A, B and C. A are right now resting. They'll resume their games tomorrow. B played yesterday and today, as you already mentioned, back to back. So game number 5, very crucial. Main reason game number 6 is randomized. Well, with that, the flight already cutting the map in half. Let's see if there's going to be a fight. And as we said, mud side is not going to be left empty. Hotshots are there. But along with Hotshot, even we end up seeing Straw. Along with them, Raiders as well. Multiple teams around this Deca Square region, and there the fight breaks out, and it seems like it's going to be the punching, gloves out, and with that, Straw Hats, one player who decided to take the distance move, Shock in between, gets hit upon, and Extreme X trying to take an advantage, and they will be able to. They completely shut down with the help of Straw Hats. No rules are done for.
No rules, did not follow any kind of textbook basics, any kind of rules, and eventually they had to pay a very hefty price. But look at what Neil is able to do. Put down one team, and now he's able to retaliate on the teams trying to approach this vicinity. The complete firepower of Straw Hats on display, as they've got 5 eliminations, but the God says even we are here as they strike a player, and they're looking forward to put some more down and get some early eliminations.
There's no bell to pause this fight, and Straw Hats were not ready for it. They thought the boxing gym. There's been the winner announced here. All cards in favor for Straw Hats, but now they're getting chased. Extra spotted. Yogi did take some shots, but do GodLike chase? Shocked? Okay. That glue wall will give away his position. Unfortunate. Now Riptide Rhythm also used the Marco with his VSS. He doesn't have a clear shot, otherwise you would have knocked him down by now, but his teammates, they have information. So Shocked, all he can do is maybe try and surprise, but that'll also not work. Eventually a double coming in here for Marco. That's going to put GodLike towards 2 eliminations, both of it being picked on the players of Straw Hats.
No, this is the calm before the storm. I've been able to see that previously in certain games, we were able to see that the third circle tend to be a little bit quiet. But now slowly we are able to see it's the second circle which tends to not have much of fights. And that's where we're going to be inclining towards. But for now, Nebula, they are looking forward for a fight. They see the 2 players, and it's got to be rushing. Swaru tries to put down a player, and eventually that cover coming in, it's also going to be helping them out. And let's not forget, this close range battle is not going to go their way. In case the player gets taken on, a fair trade comes in from both the sides. And now Nebula will have to watch out for what they're going to do, because there's several teams eyeing towards them.
Tiger comes back in time. He gets a quick revive and as always, using the Moss, making a quick run towards the vending machine, but he spots Marco over there. Puts up a glue wall in an instant, will get his teammate back up. Spark, yes, in that he will end up losing his opportunity of fighting further, but he knows his teammates will be able to bring him back up. But even GodLike, after facing a little bit of a clash, they had to revive their teammate to get back to a playing 4 squad. iQOO, once he got to know that there is another team here, he doesn't want to give zip way to anybody else. He zips his teammates all here. Everybody's dropping down from the skies. Swaroop trying to take shots. None of them connecting on the other end. Look at Yogi just dropped by. He has a dually and he gets one player from Straw Hats. That's what GodLike do. They don't care about the weapon. As long as their guns are singing, they will find elimination.
Marco gets in closer towards Swaroop, who's still got an opportunity out here. The dash comes in and Swaroop tries to run away, but iQOO stops him with his Bison. Will be able to grab more elimination. And that means, yet again, we see them taking a fumble down. But Flame on the other side, one of my predictions goes down the drain.
Train, unfortunate right now, but Train is what Revenant XSpark have done. Kunal has trained these lads in his direction, in his tune, to make sure they find a lot more. 6 eliminations already. Yes, Kunal's lost as the now, but we did see Ursh did spot the player, wanted to take a fight with Who, but Who is only one here. Straw Hats, it's not the whole squad, so Ursh doesn't have complete information. While if he does step in, Extreme X will try to trouble him, and that's what happens. Extreme X, they finally spot Ursh as well. Not the best weapon. He had a Mag 7. So he has to be too close for a fight. If it's too far, then it's going to be trouble. But he pulls out the AC-80. Rusty gets a little bit shaped, but he was quick on Sajan, who picks off Who. Sajan, as soon as he spotted the player who was inside, takes him out. And now Extreme X have an eye on the other fight that they want to deal with. And Flicker, we saw him being the MVP and now opens up. Sohan's down. Ursh's position already compromised. Damage being done. Nice dash being used. And Ursh will find the opener to stall Extreme X. To Scene also gets taken down. This is what Revenant XSpark wanted.
Oh, Flicker in the open. Kunal is trying to do his best. Does connect a shot or two, but the retaliation was beautiful as he puts down another player. The last man standing from EXE in deep troubles because Harsh knows exactly where this lad is. But can he revive his teammates? It seems like he's running towards that vending machine, but he's going to be caught off guard. He gets taken down after reviving few of his teammates. But Revenant XSpark, they need to be careful because Raider United are also in this vicinity.
Raiders United, they've not had a great game, just been eliminating teams. Last game they went out with 0, not even eliminations being found. They'll be smart about it, but as of now it doesn't work. The M79, Kunal, he's back in the game, pulls out the launcher, does the damage, the deed's done. 2 of the players, they're knocked. Once more Sohan as well, puts down Bunny. And this is just a lot of back and forth where Raiders United are trying to bring back their players, but they're getting put down, shut down, eliminations being picked. Troll, he's also in the close vicinity. UAV used for information. Raiders United, they have to make a run. They are not great here. However, even if Troll goes down, 2 of his teammates are still surviving. So it's going to be okay. The revive's been done. And Troll will, I think, buy enough time to make that scenario happen. On the other end, Nebula and GodLike. It's been a storyline. Wherever Nebula is, GodLike are also there. Wherever GodLike is, Nebula is also moving in that direction. And it happens once more.
I mean, I think the second statement is right. It's Nebula who always go in search of GodLike. That has been a habit for them. But this time around, the gods have understood, you know, the mischievous Nebula really well. And due to which they're able to punish them and put them down. It's going to put a bit of a pause on Nebula's gun power. But Total Gaming on the other side, they're doing some really good work with their feet. They've got 7 eliminations so far. And Mafia gets taken down, and before I could complete my sentence, because now we see that they will be forced into another fight.
3 men. It's going to be tough. Tonde Nepal Esports. Knock found. Vota now moves in. That's the opportunity they wanted. Chibo, but quick. Reagan turns it around, but Shanky is quicker. It's just been trade so far. Blue God understands that they had no say in this fight. They get knocked and they will be taken down as well. Eliminations, a couple moving in the direction of iQOO Total Gaming. They make the mark of total 9 and now they will start making their way inside the zone.
every other team is making sure that they make it inside the circle as early as possible, or rather predict a circle like that of GodLike. That's one of the reasons why I really love this team. They are still able to predict where the final circle might come up with. And with some early eliminations already in the pockets, they tend to go in for a fight. But Hotshots on the other side needs to be careful as they stop midway. And in case they continued in this path, they would have met EXE.
Extreme X, let's see if they will look forward to meet anybody after getting a booyah. Hotshots, rather they want to try a hand on Extreme X, try to get eliminations. We spoke about it. Hotshots, they've not gotten a booyah, but they're still towards the top in the standings. Shots being taken. M82B was also in play, but now using the Moss, they decide to rotate towards another compound where maybe Hotshot Esports will feel a lot more comfortable. Revenant XSpark in tandem as well. We did see almost kind of parallelly moving, and they also want to make sure they close out on booyahs, but it seems like they found a launch pad, make a jump for it. But we see a Stallion now, who's just around the fields flexing its main, but on the other end, one who wants to flex the main and ride on the Stallion is going to be GodLike. Total winner found. Quick on the elimination. Sami gets taken down.
Another pattern occurs. It's got to be the snipers leading the fight at the initial parts of the game. And that's what Yogi is doing. He's got 6 eliminations already, and we'll be witnessing another team get taken down. It's got to be, total winners who try to come in and challenge Revenant XSpark. It was Kunal who gets taken down, and eventually they did survive for a bit more longer. But that doesn't mean both these teams are out of the game. They have a chance to fight it out yet again. But look at this. It's GodLike and Nebula yet again. The love story which is still not ended.
Yeah. This seems to be a story that is going to be written for ages. It happened in spring as well. It's continuing now as well, and it seems to be never ending. Because both GodLike and Nebula have revived each other multiple times. The fight's going on, continuing. However, one who has taken advantage out of this has been GodLike. As you can see already, 13 elimination. Nebula,
no.
They just have 5 in their name. Quick jump, Swaroop will be able to spot this.
What a shot, what a connection coming in from the side of Swaroop, but GodLike immediately, they revive each other, but that's not going to stop Swaroop from taking another player down, and this time around needs to be careful, but Yogi, from a distance, yet again, the sniper says, I am there for my team, as he puts down a player, but Spark, the last man standing, has got so much of opportunity, brings back Tiger into this game, but Total Gaming, and how are they going to contribute to this? But let's not forget, GodLike, after this, will still have all 4 men standing. Will now have to make it inside the circle.
Just get back in the circle, find another vending machine, get one of the players back. But it seems like Nancy's been found from Spark. And Spark gets more cash, revives one more. He had 300, so he needed another 100, and he would have gotten that by now and will get that revive. On the other end, Yogi already had taken a jump, but look at the players now in midfield, surrounding in the air, so GodLike have to be worried about it. Revenant XSpark on the other end. Earlier, we did see the challenge with Total Winner, and once again, it seems like it's about to happen. This time, they're 4-man strong. Last time, they went into the fight 2v4.
Revenant XSpark, for the first time, see them inside the circle trying to defend a fortress, whereas GodLike on the other side are outside of the circle, more interested in picking up eliminations. Probably these are the 2 teams who have got a double-digit elimination for themselves with another one, but Total Winners. Now suddenly we see them trying to hold on to their horses. Yes, it's got to be Total Gaming as well, who have got 12 eliminations in their name, and all these teams will look forward to end this game with at least a booyah in their name.
We always talk about this. Next era is a game of high eliminations, and so far it does seem to be. And the most contributors, or at least the ones who are getting this benefit, is going to be the Indian squads. 12, 14, we can see 12 again. This is what they've done. Between these 3 Indian squads, there's 30 plus eliminations in total. While they might have exchanged a lot of these eliminations between themselves from the region, as you can see, Ursh spotted one player from Nebula, but it's going to be GodLike who will maybe confirm. No, it's still Ursh. I saw players from GodLike, and it seems like while I did see GodLike, I was right on it, but it's going to be Revenant XSpark who will also do the damage on them. While Nebula, they're just getting picked by multiple squads. One of their players now lost in this transition towards the compound by Extreme X also challenging them. Another goes down to Extreme X. That's going to be Swaroop, players one after another, and the vehicle blood last will contribute for Nebula's end here on Next Era.
Nebula trying to be as aggressive as possible yet again. Fail a little bit as they concentrate too much on GodLike for now. But Raiders United, one of those teams been recently picked up, and a lot of pressure, if you ask me, over their shoulders as well, as they'll have to make sure they perform well with a big banner up their shoulder. And look at this troll trying to connect shots. Will be able to land one perfectly. We'll be looking for another one. We'll be rewarded for it. The third one might just follow up, and yes, it does, with 3 of them getting taken down. That's the end of Nepal team, Nepal Tonde Gamers, and I hope that, you know, they don't make the same mistake again.
An entire squad wiped by Troll. Are you kidding me, man? Oh, man. First, there was already a player. He took him down, got that confirmation. And then the other 3 players in tandem. They all crashed on the same roof. And Troll just gets them one after another. And Raiders United, yes, they have a big burden on their shoulders and they want to deliver. They've been delivering on the elimination spectrum, but now they have an opportunity. Want to go in for a rush, but before that there's a rush. Revenant XSpark and GodLike, iQOO and Yogi able to hold themselves. It's only Vincent, Sohan, Arsh and even Kunal all taken down. Arsh confirmation as well, and Vincent holding with that rifle, but not for long. He will also be put to rest. Zone closing in. GodLike will also have to leave one of their teammates stranded. Now Nancy and iQOO, they have a burden on their shoulders, but multiple teams already spotted. Hotshot do not want GodLike having the roof. Even iQOO Gaming don't want them having the roof. But in this mix, it seems like Straw Hats, they deliver an exchange to Extreme X and make them suffer as they put the end to their run. iQOO and Nancy holding off, but iQOO Gaming on the other end have blocked the entrance completely. iQOO and Nancy have enough time right now to get back and patch themselves, but not the same for Raiders United as Straw Hats have charged in.
Oh, Straw Hats, this is the point where they can actually dominate your Raiders. Bunny gets taken down, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, Raiders United are out of this lobby. And let's not forget that Total Gaming and GodLike, they have an affair to end, and that's what they're trying to do. And look at that, it's Total Gaming who come out on top in this fight as well. Total Gaming have got a very strong footing in this game, and all they have to do is wait for the right time to strike and probably walk away with the booyah, which they badly need.
They have placed themselves really well. Even when GodLike tried to charge them, they knew the position and they waited for the glue wall to drop, open a gap, and then they went in. And now look at this rotation, not giving any slide to even Hotshots or Straw Hats. They take the other window, make a jump, and same Hotshots are doing, trying to charge in towards iQOO Gaming. Openings been found, Aztec confirmation, that's actions, big delivery, and this could be an opportunity. Even Vota going down. Mafia and Shanky are the last 2. Hotshot, before giving iQOO Gaming a chance to recover as the zone was shifting, they charge in and get to eliminations.
Oh my god, the inexperience of Vota was shown in that fight as they rushed in blank. But for now, Total Gaming, all they can do is try to survive for the longest time possible, because they know that Hotshots will eventually have another team knocking at their compound. And these are the teams who will have to fight it out. My enemy is my friend, and now Straw Hats will have to come in closer towards Hotshot, and that is where Total Gaming can take advantage.
iQOO Gaming, they spot an opportunity and they try to charge in. That's going to be Total Winner, a completely different team. Damage being done, Mafia helping out, confirmation in their name. And now there's more, even Hotshot being troubled. This could be an opportunity opening for iQOO Gaming, even Straw Hats in this mix. All the 4 teams together in one position. Monster Truck also being brought into play. It seems like what Hotshot wanted to do, now they're being trapped in their own dream escape, and now they have to find an opportunity. Shanky making sure that there is no flank. He holds his own. Total Winner on the other end, troubling Straw Hats as well. Their player shocked, gets confirmed. So Total Gaming, while all of this is happening, they're getting a little bit of an advantage, because battle in between other teams puts them in the driver's seat in terms of vision. But Hotshot, they decide they will not let anybody wait anymore, and Shanky will be finally put down on Mafia. He's all alone. Nero's plushie was used, but it was from a different team, so Hotshot have no idea where Mafia is on the roof. They will try to move further. Mafia, the zone's closing for him. He has to be worried about that. Straw Hats, they cannot make a move because they are down to their last 2. On the other end, Hotshot, they have all their 4. This should be their opportunity, their game to win, and Mafia is getting damaged by the zone, so there's no say that he could do in a 1v4 against the teams who also have 2 or 1 member standing still.
Mafia could damage Hotshots here, and that's what's gonna be his, motto for now. As he makes it inside the circle, still survives, but eventually Thanos puts him down, and Total Gaming are out, ladies and gentlemen. And it comes down to 2 Pakistan teams and 1 Bangladeshi team, amongst which we're gonna have 1 winner walking away with the booyah.
Hotshot have had opportunities like this, but this is the best one. They have the numbers up. They put an end to Straw Hats. They already know where total winner is. Damage being done. Anas is trying to go in for a chase. Prince the last one standing. M590, if not for long, it's going to be the dually. The revolver coming into play, and Hotshot Esports, they become the sheriffs finally after so many high-scoring games. They find a booyah.
A much needed one, if you ask me, because they have been trying to do the best to gain another one. They had one before this. Make it the second one is just an icing on the cake. The domination speaks for itself with 114 eliminations so far, and just half of it is what they've got with placement points. This team is a team to watch out for. Sajid says that he's taming every other team in this lobby.
What a game by Hotshot Esports. While I was worried in the same trap that they wanted to put iQOO Gaming, maybe they also got caught, but Total Winner did not get any movement from that compound to jump. That's how Hotshot held them. And then when the zone was closing in, Hotshot decided to move. They found Shanky, and now they had shut down the flank warner or the flank blocker. That was Shanky. From there, they had entire control of this final region, and they get this booyah for themselves.
A much awaited, a much deserving booyah coming in for a team from Pakistan, Hotshot Esports. They're going to be so happy about it. But let's not forget that there were several other teams who had such great opportunity, like Total Gaming, who had such a good spot. They made it inside the circle, and they had GodLike up there, up their vicinity. They put them down, and after which all of a sudden we see that they get decimated, just left out with 2 players, and especially Hashtag getting taken down. Mafia, all he had to do was survive for the longest time possible.
Could not do it because he was all alone, zone closing in, but they still managed to cope up to a total of 21 points. 14 eliminations, 7 because of their placement. Straw Hats on the other end, I thought after putting down Extreme X, who were at the 9th spot, they could have an opportunity. But the zone closing in early, they did not follow the same trail that Hotshot did, so they were late towards that final circle, and that is the reason they're sitting at 24, matching the same with GodLike. But GodLike, even before Straw Hats, even before Total Gaming, got swept, and they still have a total of 24 points. That's how aggressive here on Nextera they were. Unfortunate that timing that their zone closing in, they had to make a jump, but a tad bit of a recovery from Raiders United, but unfortunate early push from Straw Hats, which they were not ready for, and that is the reason they only get that 5th spot. But with this, let's take a look at our overall standings of where teams have made a mark. Raiders United now getting closer to that position, which I kind of thought could be matching up to where RNX is. Similar in how what RNX are able to do is what I see Raiders United do, and they have managed in a difference of around 6 points. But on the other end, let's take a look at the top charts. Revenant XSpark and Hotshot both are matched up on score. It's only the booyah that's a differentiating factor, giving #1 for Revenant XSpark. GodLike on the other end, after yesterday's off start today, they've been finding points, 165 in total. Straw Hats, they've been impeccable. One of the best squads today in terms of turnouts, 162. 100 points around is what they've found, Arka, today.
Yeah, absolutely well played is what I would like to say. And again, they've still got one more game to be played, and in case it's going to be their favorite map, I believe that they're going to rewrite history yet again. Let's not forget that Nebula is the only other team from India who are kind of, not having such a great run. They've got just 90 eliminations. That's the least from their group so far, who have already crossed 100 marker. I know that Flame have hit 98 points, but I strongly feel like if Nebula is able to pull off another booyah, or the only booyah which they'll be able to pull off, things can be very different in the overall standing. But in this game, the MVP of this game is going to be Actions, who's using an Oscar, 9 eliminations. I did not see this coming in the beginning, but later on we saw how well he was able to place himself in fights. Joseph, J Beeps and Nikita a good combination. It's more of trying to survive and have a close range fight with Nikita for a quick reload, Arwan for the information, tactical market, just in case they need that bolt maker at times. I believe that Actions was ready to showcase why it's called Action for the team.
And when we were talking to our casters from Pakistan as well, right, they were telling this is a man you have to keep an eye out for because he's well known in the circuit and he will deliver. He did in spring and he's continuing here in summer as well. Great stuff being the MVP. Along with him, we have to talk about his teammates. Sajid has been a major contributor in terms of survival. As you can see, there is the electrotherapy along with the Olivia, but also having the role of a grenadier. This is just two roles and two roles well played coming in from his end. Morse being anchored by Anas and Leo playing with Chrono. And I think finally in this game we ended up seeing Leo also contributing, and this is one of the reasons that we were talking about as a total squad. If Hotshot Esports together play, they will be able to secure a booyah, and that's what happened. We ended up seeing all the 4 players playing together in tandem, communication so efficient, not losing even one player in that final fight. Well, Actions took the MVP card. Anas is not too far behind. 8 knockouts of his own, 4,000 damage, more than Actions. 4 eliminations, 4 assists. Leo on the other end, 1,988 damage coming in. Major contributor as we split. Sajid this time was just an anchor, making sure his team were surviving till the very end.
Oh, he's a heavy anchor. 900 damage for 9 assists. Are you serious? I think that's the most clinical you can be for 900 damage. Nonetheless, we see that the fights, they take off really well from Circle 1 itself. But by the time we reach Circle 2, there were a lot of teams trying to make sure that they revive their teammates, trying to hold on to their horses for a long time. But only those teams who inclined towards taking those fights in the second circle couldn't survive for a long time.
Teams who kind of did take their way in the play zone for a long time, one being Tonde Nepal Esports. As you can see, they're at the complete southern end. Nebula also in a similar fashion, they were just trying to run around, find space to survive. Tonde Nepal Esports, when it was time to jump towards where the circle was, they got hit and they got taken down. And that was just by one player from Raiders United, a whole squad, a 1v4 entirely happening by Troll. Unbelievable stuff. That's the caliber from their end, but caliber even shown from Hotshot of how they worked on this final circle. Because to be honest, right, when iQOO Gaming made the leap towards the position, knowing that the circle was shifting, they were the first mover advantage, if you would want to talk about it. They were the ones who did it. And I was thinking, wait, that should be the game being sealed by iQOO Gaming. And then says a no card being played, the red card being brought out by Hotshot Esports. The instance that they jump in, iQOO Gaming were not sure about it. They were not ready for it. And you mentioned about it, Vota getting taken down one by one. They got wept out. Unfortunate. But with this, let's jump to our randomizer to decide which is the last game.
Oh, I'm intrigued. The next map is going to be the map of Bermuda. Yet again, it's going to be the default map, ladies and gentlemen. And I strongly feel this is where teams are just going to go bonkers. For teams from Group B, I can expect a lot of action.
Now, Group B, you did mention we have to expect a lot of action from their end. Because one final game. You mentioned about this as well, Arka, that Group B teams have to understand that they need to get a lot of points. And one team in specific I do want to bring about is a team who grabbed so many points on day one. We spoke about them in huge banners, if you would want to talk about it. We gave them all the credits and their entire region. That was Flame Esports. 112 points on one given day. That's the highest that we've seen from a Bangladeshi team on one particular performing day, and they did it in such a phenomenal manner. Today, yes, it's Straw Hats who have taken that card away, but we saw in the overall standings that Flame Esports was sitting at around 146 points. You mentioned that could be close to the top 8 cutoff, and that is they're around the 5th and the 6th spot. Let's hope the 34 points that they took today could be better. But with this, preferred drop spots, the same as we did see earlier in terms of peak, having a cascade of 4 teams, not something that's going to happen. By this time, I'm pretty sure all of you will have an idea about it, but no rules. Bhima Sakti strip in the last game was overcrowded. Extreme X from Clock Tower made a jump. We ended up seeing GodLike as well. We saw one more team. I think Straw Hats also in that mix. They are right now seen at Mill. Now, if that does happen based on the preferred drop spots, it could be anything. But on the other hand, even Rimnam Village, Flame Esports, they were safe and sound previously when they dropped. Nobody to trouble them. But this time, seems like they can have a contender because, as you mentioned, Group B can be targeted, knowing that this is their last game.
Not only being targeted, probably they might be reckless as well. I would like to, change my answer for the previously asked question. You asked me what could be the cutoff after seeing a performance like this, where I already see that the minimum points being bared by a team, even before we step into the final map, is 146. I believe that it's going to just rise up somewhere at 152 or 155 is where it might land. I know I'm speaking way too early for this, but I strongly feel like, this is where teams are inclining towards.
With inclining towards a victory, a booyah, what teams are going to be doing, we are going to be jumping to our predictions. There you go, top 3, and this time I've gone in for Raiders United, Revenant XSpark along with them, and iQOO Gaming. And you can see Revenant XSpark is the only Group B team I'm kind of looking and rooting forward to as we start the game. It is Bermuda. Group B teams, this is your last and final hurrah for Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 summer in the South Asia Plains. Go for the top 8. Get the deal towards the top 5, and maybe you manage to qualify.
Couldn't have said that better. And the flight path itself, dissecting the map to 2 equal halves, making sure that every other team can respect their decisions for an early skirmish. Nebula,
what's happening
not
here,
going
Arka?
far away. But
Sentosa, GodLike, and iQOO Gaming.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was going to point out towards. GodLike, so much interested to end Total Gaming at the very beginning. Could be walking into a trap out here, because Total Gaming, once they hit the ground first, they're well prepared for a fight.
iQOO Gaming, they, I think, moved to Sentosa because they wanted to make sure that they're away from the entire other squads. But GodLike decided they wanted to stay away from Peak, and voila, they're right next to none other than iQOO Gaming. Trouble for them if they don't find value, but they did keep one of the players away. Echo right out of the gate is put to rest. Marco did not manage to enter the compound, so not good weapons for him and his teammate as well. That's going to be Yogi, also put to rest, and it's Nancy's responsibility to bring the squad back up on its feet. But in this mix, there was a loss of Mafia, but that is going to be a quick one to pick up. Not much to be worried. Vending machine in control. UAV used, and Marco, he will soon be scouted out and taken down.
Still not done. It's still not done. Marco gets taken down eventually. It's Nancy, the last man standing, and this is what I was speaking about. If you get down to a position and you're not prepared to back off from that spot, probably you're going to be hunted down, and hopefully nobody towards the peak region finds Nancy as he collects more coins. He's got 110 so far, and I don't see anybody in the minimap. That means GodLike can survive for a bit more longer. Whereas on the other side, it's Straw Hats taking a fight. They've got one in their name. Speak about the Stallion comes in extra.
It is United on the other end who suffer losses. Prince this time. Again, same early elimination that they faced in Bermuda. He doesn't want that, but he still will have to go down and succumb to his wounds. Thankfully, before going down, he did revive his teammates, and Troll quickly revives his IGL and captain back into play. This time it's Katulistiva seeing action. Straw Hats trying to keep control of it. They have to protect Extra, so that card being targeted right now. Extreme X wanted to take an advantage on it, but nice play coming in from Extra, using the cord and rampaging on the opponents. Tuseen wanted to close the gap, but now Tuseen is all alone. What can he do? He has to get closer to the vending machine. I think that's his decision. His teammate, one of them, behind enemy lines. On the other end, a challenge being faced by Straw Hats, who thought they're all alone. Raiders United want to go for another fight and a challenge, but before that, Straw Hats, they have to put an end and a run of Extreme X's push to rest, and then Raiders United attention being taken in their grant. And finally, with Extreme X's players being pushed out of Katulistiva, now they have chance to take an eye on where the players of Raiders United are. But it seems like Straw Hats, wait, are they going away completely? Yes, and the timing couldn't have been better. But the position, Revenant XSpark made their move in and they had to make a run, and now Straw Hats, the position they've jumped, there's Raiders United and even Total Winner, and instantly Nil wanted to bring his teammate back up, but Prince is also in the same compound of the vending machine. But thankful timing, Prince, he ran away, and now there's an opportunity to answer back. It's only an exchange for the time being.
Oh, Trow, the clever one. Now falls back. He's already done the deed when it comes to this close range battle. Now he's going to be the survivor because he realizes that there's much more in stake right now for them. because they've not had their 4v4s done. And this, look at this. Chibo comes in closer to take down Wota. A good trade comes in from both the sides, but eventually, all thanks to their teammates, that Reagan will be able to pick up a player. And not only that, get the confirmation as well. Total Gaming did not expect this, but Wota, recent addition for this team. I felt like he could be the perfect fit for the puzzle. Seems like he's having a bit of a trouble.
The initial approach of you setting in well, I think that's what's taking time for iQOO Gaming. But the same thing happened to Revenant XSpark in the initial 3 games. They took their own time, and then Kunal started winding their way towards a booyah. Raiders United on the other end, while they did pick up an elimination, they are still surrounded. Jack, he will quickly get taken down by Total Winner. They were already in this position. On the other end, Prince back towards Katulistiva. This is just back and forth for the side of Raiders United. Not a great game, but one team who are still finding their ways to winning in terms of elimination is going to be Tonde Nepal Esports, but Mafia puts a stop to it for the time being. Nade being tossed. Is this going to be good enough to do damage? Yes, it does. Puts back Chibo down. Quick on the revive is Reagan, but for how long? Closing the distance already is Mafia. He wants a hit on it. He wants a confirmation. Pulls out is Dually, but it's not going to be enough against the 2 shotguns of both Chibo and Regan. And Tonde Nepal Esports, they're firing on all cylinders. Already 9 eliminations. Again, Wota with his Dually. M1917 not doing the damage that iQOO Gaming want, and they will be pushed off the position, and they have to move in the other direction. Safe and sound for the time being at Factory.
I think we need to speak about the devil in the room. It's Mafia who's unable to do it in long range, and Wota who's unable to do it in close range. So Total Gaming might be in a bit of a kerfuffle, where they'll have to make sure that they find an answer for all these things. Because tomorrow, when they step in, they're gonna have the deadly Group A coming in. And with everybody trying to cross the finish line, they could be under immense pressure. And with that, there could be a lot of action taking place. Revenant XSpark and Raiders United, both of them come in the same vicinity, but Jack gets backstabbed. And it's important for Revenant XSpark to survive for the longest time possible from here.
Yeah, Group B. But on the other end, Nebula as well. They know they're from Group B. Last game going on. Extreme Access to Scene, mid-air pick-off. Confirmation for Swaroop as well. But Flicker, he's quick. He gets to Scene back up. But all this action happening outside the circle. They're all getting hit by the zone. It's still the first one, and that's the reason everybody is okay with it, taking the damage. But the amount of action you can see, the feed is lighting up. Flame Esports, we spoke about them close and at the edge of qualification. They need to pick up big points. 30 gamer, maybe they'll be safe and sound. And right now, they're challenging iQOO Gaming. Those are the eliminations they're grabbing. Thankfully, iQOO Gaming have coins, and that is the reason they're quickly reviving their teammates. But Wota again gets knocked down. Rasil, he makes a run. He doesn't spot Mafia. What? How? He's still running around. Wait. Mafia also knows his teammates are nowhere close by, but finally Rasil, using the M79 with the launcher, takes his opponent and himself down. He's like, I want to put Mafia down. Do not want to give him a chance. And Mafia, unfortunate, his chance he did not use, and he will also be put to rest. And Flame Esports, they want to be back in the game, but Tonde Nepal Esports, they do not want to give them a chance.
Oh, this is where Toki, the last man standing, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna fall back, or is he gonna go back and revive his teammates? And it seems like he's choosing to revive them, and a wise decision if you ask me. Whereas Tonde Nepal Esports, they are more intrigued in getting those eliminations. Raiders United, but he gets taken down. It's total winners who need to be very, very careful in what they're gonna do next, because the more we see teams trying to take a fight outside of the hard compounds, especially in the map of Bermuda, you can expect bullets to come in from all directions.
So, okay, there was a chase from Tonde Nepal Esports Blue God. He did instantly put him down and confirm that elimination as well. But you can see Toki struggling to get towards the vending machine. Thankfully, Tonde Nepal Esports that he'll be wishing for did not come close. They will not. He'll only bring back one of his teammates using the super revival rather than going in for maybe the revive card. Get 2 of them. But for the time being, at least getting 1 player back is good enough. because that'll give them a little bit more survival time. Maybe pick coins around the ground and go for it. But on the other end, Tonde Nepal Esports, they did not trail behind a team they could have eliminated, moved in the other direction, got caught by 2 squads. No rules as well as Straw Hats, and that is eliminations being dispersed in 2 different directions. And Tonde Nepal Esports, 13 elimination. This is a big game, or was supposed to be a big game for them, and they're now not going to be playing. It is all tomorrow that their action resumes.
Hey, as long as they've got a good average, I believe it was a good game for them. 13 is not a bad number. Whereas on the other side, Total Gaming for now is going to be pounced upon by EXE. As Total Gaming, who have got 6 eliminations so far. For the first time, I see them running with their pants down. For the first time, not being united. They are getting picked off in all corners. There's Revenant XSpark, who have got that healthy 8 eliminations in the beginning, is looking forward for another fight. It's got to be Hotshots. Action gets taken down. Leo is going to be standing with Sergeant being chased from another angle altogether. Revenant XSpark are having a good time out here.
But they've put 2 of the players down, make it a third. Sohan also goes down. Kunal, the IGL, is the only one. Hotshots, they managed to recover their teammates and now in trouble. Nice launcher damage. Glue wall to stop the next one. Action, he gets hit, and that's going to be something to be worried about. Anas in the meantime gets some confirmation. Launcher being used now by Kunal as well. He wants to try and do damage with the glue walls which are boosted. And finally what? Wait, Kunal, what just happened over there?
I think he got eliminated by the circle, if I'm not wrong, because I saw his health was depleting, and eventually he gets knocked off even before he could heal. He was so interested to get those 2 eliminations. He thought that first he could execute it and then heal. Was a miscalculation, which is going to be learning a hard way. Whereas for now, Prince, he sees something at a distance. He doesn't realize it's just a statue. And now it's good. They're going to be launching themselves inside. Raiders United, Incognito goes in troll, gets information and immediately falls back to a distance.
But for how long? The position compromised. He is known. He wanted to go on top of the roof. And he's the only one who couldn't make a jump. Has to go back, recoil the launch pad and then make a big leap. His teammates, they'll be comfortable. On the other end, not getting too comfortable on the game is Flame Esports. They understand this is their last game. Revenant XSpark getting eliminated 11 point. They do not get any placement points. And that is the reason Flame Esports do not want that opportunity or scenario for themselves. Straw Hats also understanding this is Group B's last game. They start picking up. Already they've gotten 100 points and now 13 more eliminations. They have 13 more points. It seems like they're going to be topping the charts compared to what we ended up seeing their own counterparts Flame Esports doing. Straw, quick on that exchange, shocked quickly, not letting Mafia control or get that elimination. Headshot Hunter Mafia, he's been doing the damage but not getting the confirmation. That is the only one hit that he'll be taking on himself. He has no teammates. Any time that we've seen Mafia, he's all alone. On the other end, Total Winner have a full squad and an entire saloon shop for themselves.
I think now they want to survive for the longest time possible because they know that Group B, all the teams from Group B will be looking forward to hunt everybody else. They choose to first call themselves home. That one compound for now. Yeah, it's got to be GodLike on the other side who are again trying to play in the corners. Until now, they had a good footing inside the circle. Will now be forced to take fights as they make it inside the circle. The launchers are going to come in use for them now. Whereas on the other side, Straw Hats, they're just watching GodLike. If they make one small mistake, they're going to pounce upon them.
GodLike, with Bolt Maker being called, they have to quickly make a jump, but it's not working out. iQOO Gaming, they spot an entire squad. It's only one person who made a jump, everybody else being caught. Confirmations and Straw Hats. No rules. iQOO Gaming were the ones who do the knock, and Straw Hats are the ones who get the eliminations. And look at Straw Hats, 17 in total. Yogi, what is he? He's only alone here with the Charge Buster and a Stallion right next to him. What does he do with that horse? I don't know if there's a chance. Total Winner might have had an idea. That's the reason they're just checking on the window to spot the player, trying to use a TPP in their advantage. On the other end, Raiders United trying to use the advantage of eliminations, and Nebula, who are under pressure, they're trying to convert on it. Mafia, who's also under pressure, but he gets eliminated. Unfortunate. Again, the last man standing from iQOO Gaming and nothing much to do in an open area right next to the tower. But with that elimination being found, Hotshot get an idea that there's a team trying to enter the circle, but they are also not inside the circle. So Extreme take advantage, do the knock on Hotshot, and Anas, he tries to exchange, but action also gets picked off by Flicker. Who is going to lose their teammate is what is under question. But losing a whole team is going to be godlike as they end their run for Group B as well. Yogi couldn't do much. Raiders United they spot Yogi and put his run end as well.
Total Gaming, the way they've damaged GodLike in this game is something they're gonna think about for a really long time now. It was the last game for GodLike. Before this, they had 103 eliminations. They couldn't put much on the table, but have they done enough? For now, it's gonna be Raiders United, who have survived for the longest time possible, if you ask me. 12 position points against 51 eliminations so far, and now suddenly we see them trying to survive in the top 8, probably looking to end the day with a booyah. The intention seems to be clear, but let's not forget that Total Winners in the same vicinity is also thinking the same.
Nebula Esports, Flame, Straw Hats and Hotshots, these are the only 4 teams right as of now from Group B trying to fight to make sure they have a stronghold on the overall standings. Raiders United, they might be the ones who try to break it all. They already did for GodLike. But GodLike, after their run today, they've managed to acquire enough points is what I presume. Chargebuster by the Hunter coming in from Total Winner on Raiders United. Troll confirmation also goes through. On the other end, Straw Hats and No Rules, close by. No Rules, they don't have the zone, so they have to just make a run and see wherever cover is possible. Don't even have teammates right now. So for them, it is just trouble. Anything that they do is information for the other teammates or the other squads and enemies. But for their advantage, everybody's busy in a fight towards that saloon shop, and Mahir with the machine gun goes berserk, confirms the elimination. But in the meantime, Bolt Maker's being used, so they don't have much space. They're out in the open. Multiple nades being tossed to see if there's a chance, any opening from No Rules to see if they can find more knocks one after another. But while this was happening, a team got eliminated. No Rules as well, they get eliminated as a charge comes in from Straw Hats for taking down one of their teammates. But Straw Hats are not safe as Nebula want to climb up the hill, take the space away.
Nebula fighting hard, making sure they survive, at least get a booyah in this game, because this is the last game they're gonna play for today and for this play-ins itself. Oh my goodness, one good nade coming in from Tushan is gonna put everybody down, and Nebula gets eradicated from this lobby. EXE, they're pushing in hard against Straw Hats, and let's not forget that Hotshot and Flame are just watching them take a fight with each other.
3 squads from Group B right now fighting. Flame Esports, after their wonderful run on day 1, today has not been recovery or anything similar to what they did on day 1. But this last game could actually be their big win, and they could also make sure they seal the deal for the main event. Flame Esports might be troubled, but Taz, he's trying to make a run as the zone is moving. He wants to be right at the edge of the zone. Tandem moving in that direction. But the number of teammates they have is not much. It's only 3 players. On the other end, Hotshot, it's only one last player, Anas. They just got a booyah in the previous game, but not much to go around. But Anas, what a car 98k shot coming in now. Zoic, can he find a confirmation? He had to use the Moors and make a run, but Flicker already saw him through it. So no hiding in plain sight, and Extreme X eliminate another team from Group B. Down to the last 2, Straw Hats and Flame Esports. But this is the final showdown between the Bangladeshi squads.
Oh, they know each other really well for an ending like this. As Extreme X have got the man advantage, trying to take control of this topography. Look at their split. It's Straw Hats on the other side, trying to, make sure that they stick in as a group. Flame on the other side, trying to play the survival game, as EXE will try to do their best, but who lands one perfectly? Good grenades could be troublesome for EXE, but sadly, they don't have any.
Hussein will be quickly brought back. Straw Hats don't have numbers. Riptide Rhythm being used. Is that going to be a charge in? Double Riptide Rhythm being used. 2 different teams, both of them eyeing on only one squad. Straw Hats quick on their run, get a boulder for themselves, but Extra, that glue wall will not stand for long, and Sejan finds an angle, puts down who. But you can see how cautious Extreme X are. They know if they make a mistake, they can be spotted by Straw Hats. Sorry, they can be spotted by Flame Esports and they can be picked. And that is the reason they're just using the angles to knock players from Straw Hats. What can he do? Can he knock on the doors and make sure he is the one answering this question? Nil, he will be put to rest, and who also will be taken down? Flame Esports now have to deal on this battle, but Toki instantly puts Sejan. Extreme X wanted to rush, but this could be an opening. Toki, he did not knew the flank coming in from Rusty, and it's all up to Taz. His position compromised. Glue wall destroyed with the dash. He tries his best to jump around and take the shot. Doesn't work, and that is gonna be a booyah coming in from Extreme X. A double whammy for the day, and a big day again for the Bangladeshi squads.
Oh my goodness, 100 points again breached from another team. It's going to be Extreme X doing phenomenal job in this game. They're going to be happy with their performance, but tomorrow is going to be another story altogether. We have seen teams do well on day one and fumble in day two. Tucson says it's just another day at work for me. Yes, the final shot being taken by him, practicing hard to keep his fingers warm. This was the moment where Hotshots could have taken away everything from Flame.
That's Tucson telling us he has hot hands. He is ready for the next game. Get that game started. But Tucson, keep this aggression going in for tomorrow as well. Because as of now, yes, Extreme X have done brilliant job. But you could see Rusty how quickly he made a run. Toki could not even put down a glue wall or understand, oh, the flank already happened. And by that time, Taz was just too far away to go back and help his teammate out. And that is how Extreme X converted today. Another booyah in their name. So far, yesterday at least, Arka, when we had 6 games in total, 3 from the Bangladeshi squads and 3 from Indian squads that we ended up seeing a booyah coming through. But today, it is, out of the 6 games, we have seen 4 booyahs going all for the Bangladeshi squads. The first half where only Straw Hats dominated, and in the second half, it's been Extreme X.
But have they done enough? Because they're more inclined towards getting those booyahs. Yeah, it was a finals, if it was champion rush condition. I know the Bangladeshi teams are doing well, but it's way before that. And they're showcasing too much. As I said, if you show up all your talent on day one, day two, they're just going to come behind you and make sure they hunt you down.
Well, hunting down right as of now was Straw Hats, knowing that they want to make sure they qualify today. And with these 20 eliminations and a total of 28 points that they managed to grab, I think they are towards the race of main event already. Could be an opportunity. Flame Esports, a nice 24-pointer game. Their entire day, they managed to get around 40 points. That was 5 games in total. And now with this 24-pointer, 60 points at least on an average they put up on board compared to their 112 yesterday. Hotshot, not completely what they wanted in terms of a result towards the end, but unfortunate in terms of the position they were in down the hill, trying to climb up, but there were just too many teams up the hill around the saloon shop. Raiders United, again a big elimination heavy game, but no placements in terms to answer, only 16 points in total. But on the other end, I want to see a total. Tonde Nepal Esports, 13 eliminations. They're at the 7th spot because they did not get any placement point.
Doesn't matter, because they've just got one more day left. And they've got decent amount of points, if you ask me, on the table. But the MVP of this game has got to be Tucson with that max 7. He was doing a phenomenal job. Casey, yes, he's more of a support player, but when the situation demands, he gets brutal. He's got 1,520 damage for 6 eliminations. Done a decent job so far with 2 assists. And I'm hoping to see him perform much more, because EXE have another day ahead in front of them. And probably after this, we can expect them to go much more aggressive than they've done so far.
Let's see how aggressive they go. Along with Tucson, we end up seeing his teammates as well. While him being the supporter ending up on the cards, we see Rusty with that Moss. We saw how he moved, and that was the reason he got an opening against Flame. Flicker helping out. We saw the Riptide Rhythm as well, breaking the opening that Straw Hats were trying to close. Oscar on the other end by Sajan, the dash being used at the right time to break open the walls that was completely held by Taj as a fortress. Not for long, and that's how Extreme X made this work. But again, Thiva not being spotted here, but I see Rusty and Flicker having the same in terms of the build, except their unique ability, right? Active skill, the passives were all same. That tells you that both of them have that primary and secondary your snipers.
Absolutely. Rusty kind of impressed with his gameplay as well, because only when needed is where he got into action. The rest of the time, he just made sure he goes into hiding, revives in case required. Again, 500 damage for 2 assists, trying to be as clinical as possible. But I believe that EXE have still got a lot of tricks up their sleeves, and hopefully we'll be able to see them perform well in the upcoming games.
We do, but I really like this setup coming through. Not something that we always see by teams, right? We see a primary and secondary rusher that teams do have, but primary and secondary snipers, nicely played here, Extreme X. And as we said, this meta writers now kind of moves and helps the snipers itself. And I think Extreme X are dabbling in that manner very well. But earlier they had problem. We see from Graveyard towards Plantation, ended up losing teams. From there they went to Riverside. From there they've all the way to Cape Town. And Extreme X, Arka, every time, I think today, anybody who wants to just take a pen and make a note of what Extreme X did in terms of rotation, they've gone from one end to another end of the map in all the games they've played, and especially the ones they've converted that we did see in the circle analysis. And once again, if they start from the west side of the map, they go all the way from north to the east. If they start from the south end of the map, they either move from southeast and then north, or north and then east. This is just how they've been moving around, and once they get a stronghold like they have from Bhima Sakti Strip, there was nobody else who could push them out. They took control of it, took down everybody, and in that Bangladeshi showdown, they showed everybody why they are looking forward to and why they're here with their second chance.
Absolutely. Looking at the overall standing, we have got Hotshots at the very tippy top, 6 shy from 200 points, 194 as they are at the top of the mountain itself. Straw Hats right behind them with 190 points. This shows that you don't need to have too many booyahs to be at the top of the table.
Top of the table, while teams look forward to, we have to talk about the teams at the top 8. As we can see, Extreme X right at the edge, end at 111, but Nebula at 161, GodLike at 169, Flame at 170, 186 by Revenant XSpark, Straw Hats at 190, and Hotshot 194. All of them ending their run in terms of being in the top 8. Everybody, as we talk about, and you can see, right, top 6 all being held by Group B teams, not even any other trying to intertwine in their name. So all Group B teams have done their bit, but is it enough, Arka? We spoke maybe around 140 could be the cutoff, but looking at how Group B, all 6 teams, generally we see, right, at least one or the 2 teams who've not had a great run in the South Asia play-ins, they are around the 10th spot, 11th spot, giving us an idea that, hey, Day 3, there is no chance for these Group B teams because the other teams are going to clearly rank above them. But now there is an opening. Average of 60 points is what everybody needs tomorrow to make sure they put down the teams from Group B. But the chance of that happening, especially of seeing how intense of a lobby today was, all 6 teams from Group B in that top 8, I'm not sure what to expect for the last showdown of the South Asia play-ins.
I mean, so far it's been a beautiful game of Free Fire Max which we have witnessed. That means I would like to live all of those moments yet again to see what all has happened, because as soon as you told that, you know, today has been a day of a lot of action, I just realized, yes, that could be the case, because every other team out there were giving their best. Not only Group B, all thanks to Extreme EX, who did so well in today's game. They put 100 points up the board. You know, when we compare Group A and Group C, I feel like Group C have got some very big hitters, and that's been a great work coming in from their side.
I agree. I think Group C are looking hot. They're red in terms of them wanting to be the ones qualifying, especially after what Group B took their way towards the top 8. Let's see if there'll be a change, but Straw Hats 129 points, the highest so far they've done. Can anybody beat that tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be the last day of the South Asia play-ins. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back once again for the last and qualifying day of South Asia play-ins here in FFMAI 2026 summer. See ya.